I watched an interview of an illegal alien woman crying and about getting deported, and the entire interview was in Spanish. That is a spit in the face.
It makes sense.
It's disrespect. They don't care about us. They abuse our system.
So someone's vulnerable and someone's about to be deported, and God forbid we interview them in their native language. Like, how void of fucking humanity are you? I'm forever shocked by these people. That, wow, this woman is getting deported and she's in tears. And you have the fucking audacity to be like, they did it in her language and then offended me. Fuck off.
A little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, Lord. She's maniacal, and they're all clapping.
Absolutely.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning into this video. This one's going to be an interesting one for sure. An entertaining one, but also a bit of a disappointing one in terms of the ideas that are discussed. You know, I have not watched this video yet, of course. I try to do blind reactions, as blind as possible, of course, when this video comes out and when they release a trailer beforehand. You get to see some of the highlights, or rather lowlights, of a video like this. So there's some pretty disturbing individuals in this video. And I understand people's concerns about not wanting these people to have platforms or be able to spread their ideas. I've kind of talked about this before, but I think it bears repeating. I think it is better when these ideas are known, okay? When these people actually have to put their faces out there and stand up for what they believe in, if it's abhorrent and horrible, because it lets us know who the dangerous people are, and it doesn't allow them to fester in ways that could be more harmful. I think, for example, Mehdi, my understanding, and from what I've heard from some people, what I know about him basically is that he is a very good debater. Okay, from what I've seen on other shows, he's debated on Piers Morgan. He's debated. He used to have a show with MSNBC until they canceled it because he was, I believe, too critical of Israel in its genocide against Gaza. So just in general, I think that he's not really platforming them, rather he's embarrassing them, and I think he does a pretty good job doing that. At least from the clips that I've seen, and from what I can assume is going to happen, I think it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. So let's just check out this video. I don't want to keep you guys here anymore. Like I said, have not watched the video. I've seen a few clips. It's hard to get it off your feed. So I've seen little bits, but I've not watched it in full. So you guys will get my unfiltered reactions. But that's kind of it. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always, and let's get right into it.
My family lineage is settlers from the 1500s.
Colonialists.
Yeah, colonials.
You don't look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites are Native Americans. What are you talking about?
Ridiculous.
What are you talking about?
Ridiculous when I saw it.
More than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Oh.
Listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like.
Jesus.
I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
I'm Mehdi Hasan. I'm a
morally
journalist.
decrepit.
I'm the editor of Zeteo, and today I'm surrounded by 20 far-right conservatives. My first claim is Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal.
All right, here we go.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm
No,
Mehdi.
wait.
I would just like to ask.
Wait,
what makes
I have to
pro-crime
pause.
Versus,
I have to. No.
anti-crime?
Hold on. Let me go back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to stop it like so soon.
I would just like to ask.
Oh no! I have the exact same tie. Are you kidding me, bruh? No. I swear, I'm not America in that way. I don't fucking hate the people in America like this dude probably does if he's gonna debate Mehdi on this. Bruh. Damn. Okay. Well, that sucks. I kind of don't want to wear this tie anymore, but no, I'm not gonna let him, desecrate the flag like that. To be an American is to stand against everything that he probably is going to stand for. So, he's the one who should not be wearing that tie, or be proudly embracing the American flag when he supports the greatest threat to America, which is Donald Trump and his administration. So, like, no fucking way. All right, sorry. Let's continue. That was a bit of a tangent right off the bat.
What makes someone pro-crime versus, anti-crime?
I think when you're soft on criminals, when you let criminals out of prison, when you pardon people who've assaulted police officers, you're pro-criminal. Donald Trump pardoned almost 1,600 people who were involved in January the 6th. I think 600 of them had been charged with assaulting a police officer or obstructing a police officer. 170 had pled guilty to assaulting a police officer. 70 had pled guilty to assault with a deadly weapon. J.D. Vance said, we're not going to pardon the violent criminals from January 6th. Donald Trump pardoned all of them. Are you okay with that?
I would say January 6th is a very special case. I would say it's it's almost a climax point in history. I would just phrase the question this way. Right now in the LA protests, if they were to...
Whataboutism?
Just for example, they were to rush the capital of LA. I mean, they'd have to move over all the homeless people living in tents on the steps of the Capitol. But if they were managed to get into the Capitol and they were just protesting, peacefully, let's say police officers were rushing them in. They were letting them in and saying, hey, you guys can go in. Like we have many testimonies that say.
This is such a lot.
What about the violent ones, though?
Okay, violent ones like...
Can we...
David Dempsey, a judge, a Reagan-appointed judge.
Violent ones like...
Can we dismiss this myth for a second, or can we dispel with it? They were not welcomed into the Capitol because the police or them wanted it there. If you look actually at the footage of that day, there's a very heroic police officer. I'm forgetting his name, and I wish I was able to have his name off the top of my head. I believe he was honored by Congress before Trump took back the reins of power and completely destroyed and disrespected what he did. But he basically was leading the rioters through the Capitol away from members of Congress. There's this really interesting video, not interesting, it's just fascinating video of camera footage of that day of Mitt Romney, senator from Utah, walking out of a hallway, and he's about to walk right into the rioters when this brave police officer says, no, go, go, go. And then he's leading them around the Capitol for enough time for members of Congress to shelter in place. So when he says, oh, they just let him into the Capitol, no, they were strategically, literally like moving them in certain ways, like he was following them to protect the people who they were trying to hurt. So just in general, I'd recommend looking it up. It's really interesting, footage. I mean, it was Romney was like seconds away. Like if he wasn't there, if the police officer wasn't there at that exact moment, Mitt Romney, one of Donald Trump's Republican critics, would have walked straight into basically a trap at that point.
Like a man named David Dempsey, a judge, a Reagan-appointed judge, sentenced to 20 years in prison. He stomped on police officers' heads. The judge said his conduct was exceptionally egregious. He attacked police officers with flagpoles and pepper spray. Donald Trump pardoned him. There's a man named Daniel Rodriguez. He got 12 years in prison for taking a stun gun and tasing a police officer in the neck and giving him a heart attack. The judge said he was a one-man army of hate. Donald Trump pardoned him. Does that not make Trump pro-criminal? He's letting violent criminals out of prison.
I would say no, it doesn't make him pro-criminal.
You're okay with that?
I did not say that. I said that one pardon against somebody
was 1,600 pardons. 600 of those were people charged with...
one example that you just gave me.
I can give you more.
Okay,
keep going.
Fine. And I'll say the exact same thing every single time.
Then your argument will fall apart because it's not just one example if I keep going.
Go for it then.
Okay, Shane Jenkins got 7 years in prison for 9 criminal offenses, attacking police with a deadly weapon, destroying government property.
How do pardons that probably shouldn't have happened turn into pro-crime?
So you've agreed that they shouldn't have been pardoned?
Sure, but that wasn't your claim, was January 6th. Your claim was Trump is pro-crime.
Yeah, because he pardons criminals.
Okay, I would say that's a fault.
Let's talk about non-January 6 people.
Okay.
He's pardoned people like Paul Walchak recently, who took millions of dollars from his own employees, was sentenced to tax crimes, had to pay back $4 million. Trump pardoned him. He bought himself a $2 million yacht. Why is he pardoning criminals like that?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you should pardon. I don't think really presidential pardons should be a thing at all. But I
agree.
I don't think that.
All right, pause.
That means something.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thanks.
That was embarrassing for him. Not this motherfucker from the intro.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Mehdi.
Oh.
What is it?
Mehdi.
You're from northern UK, I guess?
I'm from London, North London.
Okay, fair enough. What's your ethnic background, if you don't mind my asking?
My parents are from India.
Why the fuck is he asking that?
Just getting premise here. First of all, I want to say
Premise.
Donald Trump being pro-crime.
No. I want to concern myself with why you care about what's happening in the U.S., first and foremost. Secondly,
because
I want
he's
to say
a
this.
U.S. citizen.
Wait,
Because
he
lives here.
People who live in the U.S. not care about...
Let's not interrupt each other. Because I have this thing, people know I have this thing. I have to stay calm, okay? So here's the thing. I am
Hold on.
happy that he...
Is he admitting that he has anger issues? Like, is he just admitting he can't control his temper? Like, I have this thing. I need to stay calm. Like, Okay, bud. Wow. All right.
Stay calm. Okay. So
Okay.
here's the thing. I am happy that he released J6. In fact, so much so that I was prepared to protest if he didn't.
Okay.
So when you say, are you okay that he's pro-crime? Sure, because you know what? We're changing the definition of what crime is, first and foremost.
You don't think stomping on police officers' heads is a crime?
I don't think it's no longer a relevant conversation anymore. You're
Really?
arguing. No, it's not, because you know what? Okay, have you seen the U.S. in the last 4 or 5 years?
Yes, I've
BLM protests. Have you seen? Okay, I myself have been involved in these protests. I've seen egregious things that you couldn't even imagine.
So we have
being
no
done
rules
to
then?
conservatives. It's not about that. It's about tribal warfare.
Okay.
That's where we're at in the U.S. I don't know where you're at in the UK. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so
I'm an American
you
citizen.
have your own stakes.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen? Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. I don't know how
Yes.
you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Not sure how you got that. But
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is
Mehdi. That
settlers
was
from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here, okay?
But you're
a little different
But you're
than
a
yours.
descendant of immigrants, settlers,
I didn't know.
colonialists.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials.
look, you don't
yeah.
look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're not.
Whites are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
What was
you're-
happening before the
I-
1500s?
I think you're getting confused with.
I don't mind.
Hold. What the? What do I even say to that? He just said whites are Native Americans, and then everyone just started clapping. Like, these people live in fucking delusion. These people live in an alternative reality. Like, I'm sorry, like, it's not even just hate. It's just false. It's just stupidity. Like, no, I don't even know what to say to that. There's nothing to say to things that are just objectively false, and then all of them, like seals, are going, "Ooh," like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, this is gonna be a long hour and 40 minutes, such as this, but it's gonna be a lot longer.
I think you're
What was happening
getting,
before the 1500s?
Calm down. I think you're getting.
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that came in from
Do you know
Asia.
what indigenous means?
Listen, before
Indigenous
America,
people can't
you
come
let
from
me
somewhere
finish?
else.
Why do you ask a question if you're going to interrupt?
I'm not sure if you know what the meaning of indigenous means.
I do know what it means. It
Doesn't
means
sound
they
like it.
came here first, right? They came here from Asia by way of land bridge. Have an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody else about that. I don't care.
Is he an American?
I genuinely don't care. Yes, he is.
Okay, just checking.
My point is, okay?
Nothing to do with crime. So far, you've agreed with me that these people
Because
are
you're
criminals.
derailing, dude. I'm trying
You
to stay on
literally
track.
sat down and asked me where I'm from.
Yes.
I think you
I
derailed this
think you got
conversation from the
offended by
get-go.
that, but I'm because
I'm not
I'm always
offended. I'm
curious,
just wondering what it
because
has to do
I'm
with crime.
always curious.
We're going to talk about
why-
immigration. Don't worry. Later on, you can come back.
I hope so.
Right now, you're doing a very bad job of making the case that he's not pro-crime
I just
and
got a
pro-criminal.
round of applause. I could probably get another one actually if I asked for it.
Wow.
So
People
I
agree
don't
with
think
you.
I'm
This is
doing
how
as
you
bad.
get rounds of applause. You sit in a room with 20 people who agree with you. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. That
Well,
must
wait
make you
till
feel
this comes
good.
out. You know what?
I'm
I'm
20
really
people
glad
agree
you're
with
getting
you,
this
applauded you.
emotionally
Oh,
outraged
wow.
right
Wow.
now. This is great.
I love it.
Do I have to say anything at this point, or are you just going
Please.
to keep going?
No, please.
Okay.
Make your claim.
Well, my claim is that I don't care if it's pro-crime. You want to go back to the topic of conversation?
That's fine. We agree then. He's pro-crime
But
and you
I have
don't
a
care.
question for you, though. Do you care on the opposite side of the spectrum?
Yes.
Do you care about law being administered
Yes.
to the opposite side of the
Yes.
spectrum?
I think
when they're
anyone
doing
who
the same?
assaults a police officer shouldn't be pardoned. I think that Donald Trump shouldn't have pardoned 9 Republican members of Congress who were convicted of crimes, and I don't think Joe Biden should commit.
I don't
think
think you
Democrats should
understand-
pardon Democrats.
Fair, but I don't
We
think
both
you
agree.
understand where we are in the U.S. then.
I think I do.
No, because you're
I think I do
arguing
this for a
from a
living.
position of like a U.S. that doesn't exist anymore. We're headed towards
so
tribal-
nihilism, no laws, nothing matters.
It's not about
Everyone's
nihilism.
pro-crime.
It's not about that. It's that
That's
conservatives
convenient.
conservatives for too long have been playing it safe. They've been playing by the
Really?
law. They've been playing it
playing
Playing by the law?
Yes, they have.
Maybe
We're
you missed the Bush presidency.
conservatives
Did
are
you
so
live here during the Bush
concerned-
years?
Conservatives are
Didn't
so
play by the
concerned.
law, George W.
Let me
Bush, nor did
finish.
Ronald Reagan.
Let's be respectful to you. Let me finish.
I'm not sure you've been that respectful, but okay.
I'm trying to bring it back, so let's both bring it back. Okay? I'm conservative, okay?
Really?
Let me tell you this. We do play it too safe. We've been playing it by the book for too long. At this point, gloves are off, right? The left has made their point. They're willing
Are
to
the
do...
police force in Washington the left?
Yes!
why would
Are
they
you
assault
kidding me?
them?
The left? Are you insane?
Police officers.
Look at LA right here. You think those stand down?
You think the LAPD are a bunch of liberal Marxists?
No, but I
Really?
think they listen to liberal Marxists who tell them what to do.
okay.
I think they listen to who signs their paychecks at the end
Can
of
I
the
just
day.
check,
who are
because
liberal
you're doing lots
Marxists.
of little diversions. We both agree Donald Trump's pro-crime, you're just fine with it.
No,
Is that the
I
position?
don't
That's what you've
agree
said
with
so
your-
far
I
for
don't
about
agree with your
5 minutes.
I don't agree with your definition
What's
of
your
crime.
definition of crime?
It doesn't
Stomping
matter.
on a police officer's head
No,
is not a
what-
crime. That's
no,
your
what I'm
definition
saying-
of crime as the
He keeps getting
Native
me out of it.
American.
I am Native American.
If you say so.
So going back to the topic at hand, we have different definitions of crime because you're talking about.
There's a criminal code in this country. It's called a U.S. criminal code.
You know what? Let's focus on what we agree on. I'm sure you and I actually agree on a lot more.
Do we agree that people shouldn't stomp on police officers' heads? Can we agree on that? If you don't agree on that, then I really think this conversation is kind of pointless.
No, because first of all, you're saying what? That the police have the authority, that they're given the authority. I don't accept the authority that's been given by liberal
conservative position. I'm the conservative or pro-police.
Then you don't know what a real. Hey, listen, you're in a room with juggernauts right now. Okay? I'm telling you right now, you are going to be blown open if you think that my
if we're going to struggle with the English language for the next couple of hours, then
what you're up against right now. Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Newsflash: the conservatives are liberal to me. Okay. Neocons, the libertarians, all those mainstream people, they might as well be leftists to me, okay? That's how far to the right I am. Do you understand my position?
I love
I kind of guessed it when you sat down.
When you say, about obeying police, why would I give the authority to police? Do you know here in America?
Do you think Donald Trump should be pardoning 9 members of Congress who committed financial crimes? Are you pro-financial crime?
Do you know
pro-financial crime?
All right,
Thomas Timbo is?
Pause.
I think the people who clapped you have voted you out.
All right. Head back to your seat. You've been voted out by the majority.
Nice to meet you.
That was so hard. Oh my God, that's a bar. I think the people who were just clapping for you just voted you out. Oh, it's incredible. Oh, it's incredible. Guys, I'm sorry if I don't have that much commentary. I'm sorry, like, Mehdi is just, like, so good at this. He's just saying everything and more, like, way more than I would think of in these moments. So, like, I'm sorry if I'm not, like, pausing it to put in my commentary enough, because, like, this is just, he's, like, the perfect person to debate these fucking lunatics, and I'm eating up every moment of it. Like, it is... like this is what I said before about responsible platforming, okay? Like, and what I predicted is that, like, he's so good at debate and he's so good at rhetoric that it's fine for him to debate these people because he makes them look like fucking idiots, okay? No one who isn't already a fucking fascist is gonna watch that encounter and somehow come out agreeing with the dude on the right, the fascist. Like, no one. So, like, I feel like this is a really good job at highlighting how fucking dangerous the right is and how dangerous these people are. Because even if the entirety of the right doesn't, like, support these people, there's a large faction that, isn't going to condemn them. Okay, this is not a fringe thing. Okay, organizations like Turning Point USA have had white supremacists in their ranks for so long, and they at some point maybe try to push them out, but they keep coming back in, like, because these are the same people. Okay, they ultimately have the same ideological goals, which is to have an America that is more white, more straight, more Christian, more like them. There's no non-white people. Like, the list goes on. So I think just in general, we need to understand that, like, yeah, these people are evil. And frankly, like, I don't know, if there are these people out there, I would like to know who they are and what ideas they hold instead of it festering and lingering. So, like, I don't know, I get these ideas are harmful. Like, I'm not trying to say that, like, it's ideal that people like him should be saying this shit, but the reality is he's going to anyway. So if someone like Mehdi Hasan can make him look like a fucking idiot while doing it, great. I am overjoyed that he has been made a fucking fool of himself. Okay, and I'm sure the right, like the people in the circle, is gonna be clapping their fins, saying, "Oh my God, he did so great." But, like, no reasonable person is gonna look at that and say the dude who can't say that stomping police officers' heads in is a crime, what is like the person to agree with. Okay, Mehdi is coming off so charismatic. He's coming off as, like, the person who you would agree with in this debate. If you're, like, the average person and not, like, already so ideologically captured to the point at which you're, like, a fascist. So it's kind of what I'd say right now. But I just wanted to reiterate once again, if I'm not interjecting that much, it's because I have a feeling that Mehdi's going to say all the points that I would think to say. So that's all I'm going to say for that. Oh, that's a dude from Jordan Peterson, right?
So I'm going to be as respectful about this as possible, but the truth is your claim is completely bad faith. You do not care about being anti-crime. You yourself are pro-crime. Your side is pro-crime because you're a progressive.
How am I pro-crime?
So I'll give you an example, right? So your side, not Donald Trump, has passed a series of laws in California. Let's go with California. It's where we are right now. It's where I'm from. I don't know. Are you from California?
No.
Or? Okay. So in California, for example, the state legislature, completely progressive, just passed a law that limits sex offender registration to 10 years. It was life before. That's pro-crime. The legislature in California, which is progressives again, has passed a law that says the voter-induced 3-strike law is no longer absolute. If someone attempt murders someone, stabs someone on 3 separate occasions, a judge now does not have to give them life. That's a progressive law. That is pro-crime. You support that, don't you?
I actually don't support sex offenders coming off a list. I think they should be on for life.
Okay, so you disagree with progressives.
So hold on. You and I both agree that sex offenders they should be on for life.
You support that. Judge now does not have to give them life. That's
sex offenders coming off.
That is pro-crime. You support that, don't you?
I actually don't support.
So what I was going to say basically is the reason that the 3 strikes rule is so harmful and actually doesn't do much to reduce crime is because it can be 3 strikes of any felony offense that isn't just violent felony. So a lot of these felony offenses just include shoplifting or things of that nature. If you shoplift something over a certain value, it's automatically a felony. So someone can shoplift something 3 times, which isn't great. Okay, you shouldn't be stealing TVs from Walmart, but I don't think someone who steals a TV from Walmart 3 times in it could even be a span of I don't know, it's not a good thing, but I don't think that person deserves on that basis to be sentenced to life in prison. Okay, so when we're talking about specifically something like a 3 strikes rule, of course this guy brings up this example about someone can attempt murder 3 times and they no longer have to serve life. That's never going to happen actually, because what this does is it gives judges discretion to determine which felonies constitute strikes and should be punished for that long. So that's all this does. No judge in California is going to be looking at someone who attempts murder 3 times and not put them in jail for life, almost certainly, unless there's extenuating circumstances of insanity or mental illness or something like that. So I think it's important to realize that just because you are against something like 3 strikes rule, against something like cash bail, against cash bail, doesn't mean that you support crime. Of course you don't. You want to do things that are most effective in reducing crime, and putting people behind bars who have just accrued 3 felonies, even if none of them are violent, okay? It doesn't do anything great, okay? Felonies literally can just include anything such as shoplifting above a certain value. And I don't think someone who steals something 3 times should go to prison for life. Okay, I fundamentally don't. Is it a good thing? No. Should we, stop them from doing so? Absolutely. Okay, should we give them the resources that they can to get on their feet? Yes. But I don't think locking them up for life for that is the purpose. The purpose of prison, in my opinion, should be keeping people who are dangerous away from other people. It shouldn't be just to punitively punish people who commit nonviolent acts. Okay, I think that's kind of all I have to say specifically on that topic.
Sex offenders coming off a list. I think they should be on for life.
Okay, so you disagree with progressives.
So hold on. You and I both agree that sex offending is a bad thing, especially child sex offending, right?
It seems like you and I agree on that.
I agree
the
on that.
legislature of California doesn't.
So I'm not here to debate the legislature of California. I'm here to debate Donald Trump being pro-crime.
But
and I'm saying that Donald Trump was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. When Ghislaine Maxwell, who's the worst child sex trafficker of our lifetime, she's serving over 20 years. Do you know Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah, she's actually not. Jeffrey Epstein's the worst sex trafficker.
He's dead. I'm talking about people alive right now.
It's interesting though you didn't use his name, right? Wouldn't he be the one who did this?
Oh, great. I'm glad you brought up Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, before he died, did an interview with Michael Wolff. He's on tape. I don't know if you heard the tape. He says, my closest friend was Donald Trump. I was his closest friend. Elon Musk, I'm not sure if you've heard of him, he tweeted recently that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files. And Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the right-hand woman of Jeffrey Epstein, when she was on trial for child sex offending, which you and I are opposed to, Donald Trump stood up and said, good luck to her, I wish her well. So yeah, that makes him pro-crime and pro-criminal if he's being soft on child sex traffickers,
well, you just said they
like
were his
Epstein.
Friends. He's
no, I'm saying he was friends. He was friends with Epstein. You haven't seen the videos? They danced together, partied together. Epstein said I was his closest friend.
He's not supported the pedophilia part. The only people supporting pedophilia
that's not true. Trump gave a speech about 20 years ago where he said, Epstein's a great guy. He loves young women. A lot of them are very young. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, laugh, laugh. So yeah, I think he's pro-crime and pro-criminal.
So you think he's pro-crime for having a friend who's do you have any friends who are criminals?
Not that I know of. Certainly not child sex offenders. No, do you?
No, of course not.
Okay, so we're both in agreement again. So why are you defending Donald Trump?
If it came out tomorrow that one of your friends was a child sex trafficker,
you know what I'd do?
You'd stop being friends with them.
Yes. And I wouldn't say...
And then I'd go on TV and I would say, oh, look, Mr. Hasan was friends with this guy 10 years ago. Therefore, he's pro-child sex trafficking.
What if Mr. Hasan said, I wish them well when they're on trial. Wouldn't you ever go at me for that?
You wish your friend well on trial?
Yeah, child sex trafficker. Would you be mad?
I wouldn't wish someone well, but that's
Donald
your
Trump
gotcha.
did.
That's your gotcha.
It's a pretty big gotcha.
He wished a friend
pretty
well.
big gotcha.
Okay,
he praised the
what you're really trying to do right now is you're trying to get back to Donald Trump on a personal level.
Elon Musk says his name.
What's his policy?
Oh, you want to talk policies?
Yes.
So when he left office in 2020, he left behind the highest murder rate for over 100 years.
He left behind the highest murder.
Yes.
That is the most bad faith claim you could possibly make.
It's a fact from the CDC
and
data.
You know what? Here's why it's bad faith.
Can I finish a sentence and then you can come back in?
You're just lying to people. Donald Trump.
I'm lying?
Yes,
Can I finish the sentence?
Donald Trump does not cause the murder rate. Murder is a state level
that's
crime.
hilarious.
Gavin Newsom is more responsible for the murder rate than Donald Trump is.
That's hilarious. So Donald Trump's not responsible for murder rate, but other politicians who are Democrats
Yes, because it's a state level law. That's like saying I'll say Republicans are too. State governors who are soft on crime are the ones that are responsible for murder rates. Let me finish a sentence.
When Donald Trump left office in 2020, between 2019 and 2020, according to data from the CDC, from the FBI, from Pew Research, the 30% increase in the murder rate between 2019 and 2020. It was the single biggest jump in the murder rate since 1905.
So
he's pro-crime and pro-criminal.
Who's doing the murdering?
The murderers.
So aren't they responsible
for
the murder rate?
But why did it go up on his watch?
Both.
What?
Why did it go up on his watch?
Gee, that's a real hard.
He's very bad at fighting crime.
That's a real hard one to figure out, right? We shut down the whole economy during COVID. We told everyone they couldn't go out unless it was to violently protest. We told people that if a cop tries to arrest you, that cop's probably going to get charged with murder.
No, I think the pandemic had a lot to do with it. But the pandemic didn't finish in 2020.
What?
The pandemic didn't finish in 2020.
You asked why the murder rate went up.
And yet, if we're going to play the what about game, you guys blame Joe Biden for crime for years.
What Joe Biden actively induces policies that are pro-crime. I'm asking you
for Donald Trump.
Name the policy that's pro-crime. Please, I've asked you for like 10 minutes.
I'll name one right now. No, you haven't actually. You talked about California legislatures. He pardoned violent criminals who then went on to commit other crimes. You don't think releasing violent crimes into the community?
A pardon is a one-time thing. What's his policy he has pushed? Name a law he has signed.
A pardon is a one-time thing. A policy is not one-time thing.
That's like Jimmy Carter pardoned the draft.
You guys may want to dodge January 6th, the pardons.
I'm not dodging that.
Then deal with it. Did you agree with them?
I'm going to right now.
Do you agree with
Jimmy Carter pardoned draft dodgers. Does that mean his policy was
I don't support Jimmy Carter. Do you support the pardoning of people who went on to be prosecuted for sexually abusing a 7-year-old child, illegal gun possession, reckless homicide?
Now, see, there's more bad faith. See, there's more bad faith. He didn't pardon someone for sexually abusing a child.
But they went on to be convicted of it.
For rebelling against the government that they believe had rigged elections. That's what he pardoned them for. He didn't pardon them for sexual child abuse.
But they were criminals who committed those crimes. He let them out. So that means the crime rate goes up.
So you say they're criminals because they did the crime, right?
Can we first just focus on like what is a Trump policy? Because that's what he asked, and I think there are some stronger examples that could be given as to why Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal, or which of his policies actually led to an increased crime rate. And one of those is loose gun laws. Very much the case. Okay, so there is very much a cyclical nature of gun violence and where guns go. So what often happens is with loose gun laws in the United States, guns get exported. Okay, people like send the guns to places like in Central America, such as El Salvador, such as Guatemala, such as Honduras, and these cartels end up getting a lot of power from U.S. weaponry, really, and they cause more violence and they cause more crime, which leads people then to flee to the southern border, which induces the immigration crisis. So in a sense, Donald Trump absolutely is pro-crime because he's giving the cartels weaponry by supporting policies that lead to looser gun laws. Okay, absolutely. And the looser gun laws in states like Indiana, in states like Ohio, in states like Missouri lead to those guns going into cities. So this whole idea that, Chicago has, strict gun laws and they have so much gun crime. Yeah, it's because the guns are coming in from outside almost universally. So I think just in general, that's an example. Loose gun laws in general. Donald Trump supporting loose gun laws, Donald Trump not supporting red flag laws, Donald Trump not supporting universal background checks, absolutely is a policy that leads to more crimes and is in favor of criminals. But Mehdi's still fine here. I mean, pardons are definitely a thing that the president does. If anything, more indicative than legislation. Legislation is something that Congress passes, and yes, the president, signs, but that is unilaterally Trump. That you can't even pin these pardons on anyone else. You could pin all this legislation that you disagree with on all other people in Congress, but this is just like an executive order. It's just like pardons are basically executive orders of commuting or really abolishing people's sentences. So I think just in general, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Would you extend that to illegal immigrants, that they're all criminals because they committed a crime? I have a feeling your position
the Supreme Court, we're going to talk about immigration.
Someone who's illegally entered the United States, not a criminal, but somebody who illegally entered the Capitol
Not
is.
according to the Supreme Court of the United States.
The Supreme Court has said that anyone who enters the United States illegally is not a criminal.
And we can jump to future claims.
Can I get the case site?
We can jump to 20. You want to get the case?
The case site, please. You said the Supreme Court
the
said,
citation of the case.
Yes, that entering the United States illegally is not a crime.
It's called Arizona versus United States 2012. Go look it up.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I'd be curious to know if that is the case. Looks well rhetorically, regardless.
Hey, how's it going?
Right.
Nice to meet you, Mehdi.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. I really just more want to get an understanding. When you say pro-criminal, what do you mean?
I mean that when confronted with people who've committed criminal acts, Donald Trump has been either soft on them, friendly with them, pardoned them, and of course, let's not forget, I mean, we've got 5 minutes left, I'm surprised it hasn't come up earlier, he's a convicted criminal himself sitting in the White House.
Okay, I want to make sure I understand you correctly, because I don't want to straw man you.
No,
you're saying
I appreciate that.
Every time that he's been confronted...
Not every time. I didn't say the words every time.
Most times.
A lot of the time.
A lot of the times.
Yes.
He's leaned towards criminal activity.
I didn't say criminal activity. He has committed crimes. He's been indicted for 88 different criminal offenses in 4 different jurisdictions by 5 different grand juries. He was convicted himself on 34 different criminal offenses by a jury of his peers. Okay. But let's park that for a moment.
Okay.
Separate to his own crimes, when confronted with the crimes of others, or the alleged crimes of others, for example, a Chinese crypto billionaire called Justin Sun, who was being investigated for market manipulation, Trump dropped the case, invited him to the golf course, invited him to the White House,
plenty of examples,
and the guy invested $70 million in Trump's cryptocurrency.
So what I want to ask you this.
That's pro-crime in my view.
Is it possible, because remember, the burden of proof's on you, right? You have to prove. Is it possible that all these things that he's done that supposedly make him pro-crime, there's another reason for the doing it? There's other justification. For example, let me give an example, and then you can rebut it. The J6.
Yes.
Is it possible that he could have done this to unite the country, to move past, to go to another chapter? If it's even possible, I think you would have to admit that there's another possibility.
Hold on. He did January 6th to unify the country? Sending a mob to the Capitol to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power was about unifying the country when he had opportunities to disavow violence before then? Even before the election, occurred, there were various violent protests or violent, attacks on poll workers or attacks on election sites that occurred. And Donald Trump he didn't come out and condemn them. He just passively was like, He was sowing seeds of doubt in the election way before. In August of 2020, at a rally, multiple rallies, he claimed that. He claimed specifically that the only way he would lose the 2020 election is if it was rigged. So, let's be serious here. Donald Trump is not, January 6th is not about unifying the country. Also, he's trying to make this claim that if Trump's intentions were benevolent, if Trump really just, instituted all these policies or pardoned these people, because he just cares so much about unifying the country, it doesn't matter. The claim is not Donald Trump is intending to be pro-crime and pro-criminal, though I think that's abundantly the case. It's just that he is pro-crime and pro-criminal. That doesn't require him to be intentionally criminal. He could just be negligent. He could just be doing things for the wrong reason and mistaken. If you release criminals because you just really want, the country to come together, and they go on to commit more crimes, or they are violent criminals, then yeah, you are pro-crime and pro-criminal. A condition of being pro-crime and pro-criminal is not you having nefarious intentions, although I think it's abundantly clear that he does have those. It's irrelevant. So saying he did it for another reason is just I don't care. Even if it was, it wouldn't matter.
Therefore, he's not pro-crime, at least in possibility.
So let me agree and disagree.
Yep, okay.
So I agree with you that the intent could be different. I don't think Donald Trump was sitting there saying, how can I increase the level of murders? Let me release some murderers.
Right.
I'm not saying he did that on January 6th. I don't think he was trying to unite the country. That's where we disagree. That's bullshit. In fact, he divided the country further. But intent doesn't really matter to my claim.
If
he's releasing violent criminals,
wait.
Intent
doesn't matter?
No, he's pro-crime and pro-criminal.
No, but that's a big indictment to say pro-crime. That means he's for crime.
I'm fronted. Well, he is, because, for example, I gave an example.
No. It could be possible. Okay, sorry, forgive me.
Your friend earlier, your ally, said, where has he done stuff that's increased the crime? I'm telling you.
Hold on. Can I just point out, that's a beautiful rhetorical strategy, because what he's doing is he's tying him to the people in the circle, so that now anything that they say is also pinned on him. That is a beautiful. Now, granted, is it a bit at least slimy in terms of being intellectually honest? Yes, but he's debating fascists, so intellectual honesty goes out the window. Like, I'm sorry. So, really, really good rhetorical strategy right there. Just say your ally, pin it against him. Pin it against the people in that circle to make him have to represent all the bad ideas that they are sharing.
People have been pardoned who have been convicted on multiple other crimes. These people who we pardoned had previous criminal records. They were not just some folks chilling around and go, we're against the takeover of our country, we're opposed to rebellion. A lot of these people were already hardened criminals, militia members. He looked at those people and said, you know what? They've been convicted, in many cases, by Republican judges, but I'm going to let them out. Yeah, that makes you pro-criminal.
Is it possible?
Very much so. And if Joe Biden had done it, you'd be attacking him.
Sure. Is it possible that their conviction was part of a plea? It's like, oh shit, I can't get out of this, so I got to take a plea deal.
Okay, and
some of them,
they would still be criminals.
A lot of them, maybe.
Others,
they would still be criminals.
Lying eyes on tape, battering police officers. Did you watch live on January 6th? What happened?
To be completely honest, I'm pretty novice on this. I'm more trying to target. You're saying he's pro-crime, and in my head,
I'm
just
saying,
thinking this logically. Let me finish. If I can finish for 1 second. If thinking this, there's a possibility that he might have had other reasons. For example, unifying the country.
It doesn't
chapter,
matter.
Right? That could be the reason. Therefore, it's not pro-crime.
It's irrelevant.
There was other reasons. I'm just saying that's a possibility.
Crime.
I'm saying it's a possibility, but I'm saying it's irrelevant.
Thank you.
Knowingly releasing violent criminals.
I don't care what his intentions
out into the community, pardoning, not just releasing. Then yes, you are being pro-criminal. And I've interviewed police officers.
I don't know about that case.
I've interviewed police officers who have been assaulted, beaten, had to retire from the police office, broken bones.
What is bro doing? 1 second.
Who have been assaulted, beaten, had to retire from the police office.
Are we just denying that it happened? Like, what do you like? No, it didn't happen. It's literally on tape. Like, are these motherfuckers gonna say it's like AI, or like it was planted footage by the deep state? Like, what do you mean? Like, oh no, it didn't happen. Like, what? Oh my god.
Broken bones.
Can I move
finish?
really
Let me say
quick?
that. I'll finish very quickly. I've interviewed these police officers. They've been beaten by people who they've then seen walk off the streets and then carry on threatening them. Yes, when Donald Trump is responsible for that, you're definitely pro-crime.
Okay, I doubt a lot of the sources, but
you doubt police officers who testified to being assaulted.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thanks.
No
hey, how's it
fucking
going?
way.
Good.
Nice to meet you, Mehdi.
No fucking way. Lance motherfucking videos from 2020 political TikTok? God damn, this is a throwback. Oh, wow. All right. That just sent me back down memory lane. Wow. All right. Let's continue. I'm sure his ideas are just going to be just as asinine as they were back then.
You claim that your main claim is that Trump pardoned some people from January 6th. By the way, I was there. I saw it all firsthand. About a football field away. There's smoke in my eyes. Bloodied. It was a crazy day.
Were you convicted of any crimes?
No, of course not, because I didn't enter the building. Stayed very peaceful. But your entire claim is that he pardoned.
That's not my entire claim.
Your bet's basically you keep bringing it up. All you do is bring it up.
Okay, I'll mention some other people.
Let me say this.
Are you okay with his pardoning of Paul Wolchak, who stole money from his employees?
You keep talking about
9
partying.
former members of Congress. That's my claim. He keeps pardoning criminals. That makes him.
You know who else pardoned a big criminal?
Go on.
Hunter Biden was pardoned by his father. He should crack cocaine, and he had hookers there too.
I'm with you all. I'm with you all.
But then why don't you claim that Biden? Why don't you claim that Biden?
I think Joe Biden in that instance was pro-crime. He shouldn't have done it.
Well,
he shouldn't have done it.
Overall pro-crime just because he did that.
No, but Joe Biden didn't just. So if it was just a pardon, then you'd be fine. But I already mentioned there's also the fact that Joe Biden wasn't actually a convicted criminal in office. Trump has committed crimes. Trump hangs around with criminals. He spent much of the 80s hanging around with the New York mob. He hung around with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, that's.
I can keep going.
Jeffrey Epstein lived in West Palm Beach, the area, and that's the closest golf course you can go to.
Do you think?
And he's very,
do you think
very
Donald
rich.
Trump is in the Epstein
so
files?
he paid.
Do you think Donald Trump is in the Epstein files?
As soon as Trump found out,
do you think Donald Trump is in the Epstein files?
No, I do not. And
is Elon Musk lying?
Let me explain. Let me explain this.
Okay.
He lived in the area in Mar-a-Lago, near Mar-a-Lago, so he bought obviously a ticket to go in there.
Yep.
As soon as Trump found out that Epstein had done all those bad things, immediate ban from Mar-a-Lago.
That's not true, but okay.
Immediate ban from Mar-a-Lago. Yes, it is.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. 100%.
In fact, Ghislaine Maxwell recruited some of the girls that were abused from Mar-a-Lago.
So listen to this.
From Mar-a-Lago. That's pretty outrageous, right?
Elon Musk tweeted that out in a fit of rage. Okay. Do you really?
Sometimes people tell the truth when they're angry.
Do you really?
The truth comes out when people are angry. Sometimes.
So
we might see that today.
Cash Patel literally said that Elon Musk had no access to the Epstein files. So
Cash Patel said that Epstein killed himself. Do you agree with that?
Whatever he says goes. Then I don't care.
You do?
He knows more information than I do.
A lot of MAGA people are upset.
He knows more
with Cash Patel
information than I do. But here's the actual claim.
Suddenly people are trying to vote you out because you said you agree with Cash Patel on Epstein.
He knows more information
right,
than I do.
Pause. That's time. Please return to your seat.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right.
Surrounded is now a pod conversation.
All right, John, I can't listen to you right now. Let's go back.
My next claim is that Donald Trump is defying the Constitution.
Oh no, is this the fascist from the beginning?
Nice to pleasure to meet you, sir.
Mehdi, lovely to meet you.
So I would say that with Trump being anti-constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frankly.
Okay.
Because in regards to the Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us. Yes. And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed.
Wait.
And quite frankly,
hold on. Saying you think that the Constitution should be amended doesn't mean you hate the Constitution. That's literally constitutional. That is the constitutional process for changing the Constitution. Like, what? Huh?
Fact is, we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized. Making women and children be victimized as a result of that. I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly...
Yo, Lance and I have agreement there? Jesus Christ. Wow. Yeah, this is the world they want. If you ever say anything bad or mean about their God, going to jail. People are terrifying, all right? Just to keep in mind, like, this is the world they want to live in, okay? There's one where you will literally be sent to jail for committing blasphemy. And it's not even surprising, because that's just the next logical step in what Trump is already trying to do by saying that he wants to jail journalists who write op-eds that are critical of him, who wants to deny press companies like the Associated Press from access to the Oval Office when every other press has access to that. So this is just an extension of that, just in general.
There are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution.
So the way this guy talks.
Quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative mindset. So I appreciate you spelling it out so openly. Just checking, do you support the Second Amendment?
I do.
Okay. Surprise! I was shocked to hear that. I'm saying that Donald Trump is defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do, because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
whenever
the
it's in your
Amendment.
favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
No, absolutely not. Because
so you don't
it's
believe in democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
Oh.
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Oh. Donald Trump is not Catholic.
There we go.
Of course,
Christian
he's not. I completely agree, and that's part of the problem.
You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like John Pork or someone. I can't even remember.
Why did you vote if you don't believe in democracy and you want autocracy?
Well, because quite frankly, I voted. I kind of voted just to.
I came with this argument, but I'm bored of my own argument. I'm much more interested in this. So
yeah, absolutely.
How do we get to an autocracy?
I think, quite frankly, that if we are able to enact local leaders...
Who is the we, by the way?
I think, quite frankly, these far-right conservatives sitting right around
White
me.
people?
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
So,
well, actually,
you guys,
I have quite...
Some of the people in this room don't make the cut from what I can see visually.
Actually, hold on for a moment. I do think that there are people who happen to not be white who do actually have history in this country and have roots in this country. For instance, from the Mexican-American War, we subsumed a lot of territory of people who have far stakes in this country who happen to be Hispanic or what have you. I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is majority white.
Traditional demographics? Like, what do you mean traditionally? Before the settlers got here and decimated Native Americans? Oh yeah, before that, for sure. Like, 'cause that's traditional. Traditional just means when it became white. Like, this is so arbitrary and just, yeah, of course, this dude's a literal fascist. We saw that in the intro. He's a Nazi, okay? Like, this is not complicated, okay? There's nothing traditional, there's nothing principled about this position. He just wants to wield power and hurt people who he doesn't like. That simple, okay? Like, I don't know what else.
So
and should stay that
How
way.
does the United States? I mean, we've gone so off topic, but how does the United States look like under you? Sorry, what's your name?
My name is my name's Connor. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Took a little bit of a doubt there.
Oh, well, I use a pseudonym online.
Fair enough.
But
Connor,
fair enough.
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
No, I didn't ask about deporting. What does the government look like?
What does the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he come
Franco.
from?
Yeah.
It could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
No, but who picks the autocrat?
Frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote on it. Kings were
Isn't that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that stage.
And then no more votes afterwards?
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills, because that's the whole thing.
How do you know?
Carl Schmitt
Autocrats tend to kill everyone,
Carl
even their own
Schmitt makes
supporters.
this point very well in his.
Carl Schmitt? I'm sorry, the Nazi. I won't point that out. Like, obviously, like, I don't. Carl Schmitt was a Nazi, okay? Nazi, intellectual, philosopher, fucked up.
It's the friend-enemy distinction, right? You
Carl
liberals,
Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I don't. I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at
I didn't
all.
say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
what about the persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
Why don't you just say yes?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution.
We
And stuff
may
like
have
that.
to reason
bit?
in this show,
A
'cause you're
little
a little
bit?
bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, Lord. She's maniacal, and they're all clapping.
Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping, just to get my set of where everyone
Because
is on this. Because you know that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
No, clearly you're not.
During the during the pre-war period, prior to World War II, it was only those parties that properly enacted the people's will. That's why they won. The conservatives were fat cats. They were aristocrats. They didn't care.
Are you in favor of killing people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not.
You mentioned Franco earlier. Franco killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who raped nuns and killed priests.
What about children who he killed and women who he killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed any women or children. He was Catholic.
He only killed combatants. Is that what you're claiming?
Yeah, he only killed combatants.
Never killed any innocent people.
The White Terror was only punishing those people who did acts of terrorism. And again, are you supporting like raping innocent women? Nuns, dude. Killing priests? I mean, priests don't brandish guns and kill people.
You just refuse to condemn the Nazi Holocaust, my friend. I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly don't care what you think about me. If I'm a Nazi and being a Nazi
is mutual,
if being a Nazi means upholding human dignity, because I even believe in your dignity. I don't. In a state that I was running, I wouldn't want to hurt you or anything like that. But quite frankly,
I don't debate fascists.
Okay. So do you concede then? I mean, why?
Do I concede you're a fascist who won't condemn the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yes, I concede that.
Okay, great. So I mean, what are we doing here? Because I mean, you just seem offended.
What you're doing here,
you just seem offended, to be quite frankly. Like
I'm offended by people who can't condemn the Nazis. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I condemn the evils that they did, but I don't really care about being. Yeah, sure. I don't care about being called a Nazi. Is the whole thing.
I never called you a Nazi.
I care
you
about
called
doing
yourself
the right
a Nazi,
thing.
a fascist, and a General Franco supporter.
Well, yeah, I am a General Franco supporter. He was awesome. He was so super cool, quite frankly.
Jesus.
Because the whole
and
thing.
you don't believe in democracy.
I don't believe in democracy.
What are you doing here at a televised debate? This is democracy. I want to debate and disagree.
Because it is the means to support an end. The reason we have free speech now is because we want to be openly talking about our opinions so we can get the state that we want. But it doesn't mean upholding free speech after we win. Again, I mentioned
it doesn't involve upholding free speech after we win. Just like let that sink in, okay? I'm so glad that they're just so masked off and they're just saying exactly what they mean, okay? They don't want free speech. They don't want any sort of freedom. This is fundamentally what happens if we don't fight back, if we don't stand up against these people and call them out. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad this guy is going on this show. Like is he ever going to be hired again? Like think about that. Like any employer going to want to hire him? I mean, I'm sure. Now, granted, I'm saying that kind of in jest because I'm sure he will be absorbed by the right-wing media machine that loves people who like just are ardent Nazis, of course, because you know they're edgy and you know they get clicks and stuff like that. But I don't even know what to say to this one. You know, I'm sure he's gonna be fine because he's just like, you know, Lily Gaddis, or what was her name, Shiloh Hendricks, who, you know, called a black kid the N-word, and over $700,000 was raised for her, and like, was it like a day? I don't remember the exact thing. It was like, yeah, I think in like 24 hours, 48 hours. Regardless, any amount of money of that magnitude being raised for her for literally just calling a black kid the N-word shows where we are at as a country, and shows that people like him are not few and far between. Okay, these people exist, and they exist like among us, among your neighbors. Okay, like they might not be as outspoken as him, and they might not be like, you know, expressing their stupid and vile and horrible you know, ideology, but it's out there. Okay, the cat is out of the bag. Okay, we can't put the cat back. We can't just like immediately put the cat back in the bag. Okay, we have to deal with it. Okay, we can't keep pretending that the cat is still in the bag. So
the thing about this fascist moment we're in is that you guys are so open about it.
The whole reason I mentioned
the quiet part loud.
The
Keep saying
whole reason I mentioned Carl Schmitt earlier, and you kind of blew past him, is the friend-enemy distinction.
Past him because of the Nazi.
Even liberals, when they take power, they want to enact policies and they want to enact protections for their people and their ideas, and they're willing to punish their enemy.
Hold on.
And so I'm the same way. I'm like, hey, if you're going to punish me, I'm going to get in power, and I'm going to frankly punish you when you try to leverage power against me.
What do you?
Just that simple.
Jesus. I'm not sure what you want to say.
Hey, it is what it is.
All right. Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
I can't say the same, but thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Good to meet you, Mehdi.
Good to meet you, sir. All right. So I kind of want to start at the basics or the foundation. I want to see.
Can I just check?
Yes.
Are you a fascist?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I describe myself as, I think, just a Christian.
Fair enough.
I'm a devout Christian.
Good to hear.
So.
Can't be a Christian.
I
want to
start like.
I mean, I guess you can. Connection? Hold on. Let me clarify. Yeah, you kind of can. I mean, I'm not. You know. Fascism is not necessarily a diversion from Christian teachings. It's literally just embracing the God of the Old Testament. So, like, you know, a lot of the things you'd think of with like Jesus and, you know, helping the poor and things like that, I mean, they just outright reject. So,
to the Constitution, and why do you love it so much? Like, what makes it so important that Trump would defy something like the Constitution to you personally?
Great questions. My first connection is I'm an American citizen. I naturalized American citizen, took a pledge to this country, to the Constitution. As a previous speaker has said, Constitution's not perfect. A lot of things I don't like about it. I don't like the Second Amendment. There's various amendments. I don't like the way the Senate is set up. I'm sure there's things you don't like about the Constitution. The difference is, I don't think you can just illegally defy the Constitution. I don't think each and every one of us can just make up whatever we want. Certainly presidents who are elected with an oath, right? Donald Trump took an oath to preserve, protect, defend the Constitution. And now when he's asked on television, isn't it your job to uphold the Constitution? He said on NBC, I don't know, which goes against his oath. And I'm identifying specific amendments where he is violating. He's only 6 months into his presidency, defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He wants to defy the 22nd Amendment and be president for a third term. This is the problem we have right now. Free speech is under assault. The free press is under assault. Due process is under assault. The right to be in your home and not be invaded by federal agents, the Fourth Amendment, is under assault. So that, for me, is a problem.
Okay. Well, I'd like to start to say I really don't find the Constitution that important. I find it to be like a 300-year-old document. And it was created to defy the country that subjugated your ancestors in India. And then your parents probably moved from India to Britain. And then you move here to tell us that we should listen to a piece of paper that you were never even connected to begin with.
Hold on.
So I want to say, like, if I don't care about it, why do you care about it so much?
How do you run a country without any kind of laws or due process? And by the way, you do care about it, because without the First Amendment, you wouldn't be sitting here.
Well, I agree with the First Amendment, and I think.
So do you agree with Donald Trump's crackdown on the First Amendment? He's imprisoning people for their speech. He's threatening free speech media organizations. He's threatening peaceable assembly. These are all rights under the First Amendment. Why aren't you bothered by that as a conservative who claims to love the First Amendment?
So I don't like the First Amendment. I like free speech.
Okay, so the First Amendment is what guarantees free speech. I'm from the UK, by the way. I'm from the UK, which is a democracy.
You don't like freedom of religion? You like freedom of assembly? Like, I'm sorry, like you don't like the other rights that are within the First Amendment? Freedom to protest? Redress grievances? Nothing, you know? Establishment of religion? You get a cross right there. He doesn't believe in free exercise? Shocker.
We don't have the First Amendment. No, that's one of the things I do like about the Constitution. I wish the UK did have a First Amendment.
So people
I'm a
that get
journalist.
arrested for praying outside abortion clinics and stuff like that, right?
So you're opposed to people being arrested?
Hold on. The reason people get arrested for praying outside of abortion clinics is twofold. One, they are actively blocking women who are seeking reproductive health care from getting that health care, like blocking them from getting in. They are literally trespassing. They literally go into these clinics and like handcuff themselves to the waiting room and like refuse to leave. Or they're literally just harassing these people. There is a fine line between protesting and harassment. And if you are directly, going after someone like that, saying vile and awful things, it does constitute harassment, and you can be asked to leave. Okay, you don't have a right to be at Planned Parenthood. Okay, like this is not a government building. Okay, so I don't, this whole idea they're just peacefully praying. Okay, they're not hateful. They just, they still want to take women's rights away, but like they're just doing it so peacefully. No, okay, you preventing people from getting that health care, regardless of how you're doing it, is still is illegal. Okay, you can't. You can be accused of trespassing, or you can be charged with trespassing because you fundamentally are trespassing. So I just want to dispel that myth. Mehdi, of course, he doesn't need to get into that. There's so much more to get into. But since I have more time here and he's limited on time, I will expand upon how this is completely a vacuous point.
For speech crimes, I assume.
Well, it depends what it is. If it's like the people...
so you're like one of the previous speakers. As long as there's someone who agrees with you, you don't mind the crackdown.
No, I support...
Either we consistently support principles or we don't.
I support free speech 100%.
Okay.
I don't think anyone...
So do you think Donald Trump is defying the Constitution by cracking down on the First Amendment?
So I think he's cracking down on free speech, like the deportation of Mahmoud Khalil, who was just released from prison by a judge, saying his First Amendment rights were violated. And I agree with the judge, and I disagree with Trump.
All the flags are going to go up right now.
I called it, and not the Constitution.
I think that's pedantry at this moment. I think you've conceded that he is cracking down on free speech, which is the First Amendment. So he is defying the Constitution. So it's a pleasure to be in agreement with you, sir.
All right, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you very much.
That was great. There's going to be Kai. All right, Kai from 2020 as well.
Mehdi, great to meet you. My name is Kai. Do you, Mehdi, believe that the Constitution is important and good?
Overall, yes.
Do you believe that that Constitution can be eroded through democratic processes?
What do you mean by erode?
The original intention of the Constitution being destroyed through a purely, democratic or legal process.
The original purpose of the original Constitution didn't include black people, didn't include women. Like, what do you mean original intent of the Constitution? Like, also, it's hard to say that the Constitution could be eroded through democratic means or the amendment process, because the amendment process is part of the Constitution. That's the point of it, is that so it can be amended. The framers saw a need for change. They saw that there were going to be changing times, and they saw a need for a document that would keep up with those. So, what do you mean eroded?
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Okay.
I think if you're democratically amending the Constitution per the rules of the Constitution, that's fine. If we could find a constitutional way to get rid of the Second Amendment, I'd be pro that.
So let's pose a hypothetical wherein the entire population of the United States has drastically changed.
Yes.
And the population now has completely different intentions about what to do with the
Great
country.
replacement, Kai.
Give it all back to Mexico, dismantling the United States of America. If that's the case, then what's the use of the Constitution? It hasn't defended the country. In fact, it's allowed for its destruction.
What?
I don't understand the premise. How did the whole country change?
Demographic replacement, mass migration. I mean, we're seeing a change in demographics, and there's
what is the? I do want to talk about immigration today.
I hope we talk about it.
Everyone's itching in this group to get to immigration.
Yes, sir.
I've saved it. I've saved it for you.
They hate brown people that much.
The sense of the Constitution, and you asked the question, what is the proportion of immigrants in this country? What proportion of the population is foreign-born?
It's very difficult to measure because the actual projections of the number have been changing more rapidly.
But what is currently the best estimate of official
I think it was about 15%.
Yes. Yeah. Just under 15%.
Which is, by the way, more actually than the original estimate was. So
but 15% of the people are going to change the country, change the Constitution. How's that going to work? It's actually a nightmare. As someone who wants to amend the Constitution and get rid of things like the ridiculous way the Senate is set up, or the Second Amendment on guns, or various other things, it's really hard to change the Constitution. They made it almost impossible. You know, last time we had a constitutional amendment?
You know
like
what?
20, 30 years ago.
I understand, which is
why
I
think members of Congress pay.
Which is why
it's impossible.
I get it.
So where are you getting this scenario where 350 odd million people all become foreign-born migrants or the children of migrants, immediate migrants, even though America is a nation of migrants?
Yeah.
and then abandons the Constitution and gives the country back to Mexico. Outside of your imagination, where is that happening?
Let's bring it back to the actual discussion. What you did is you entertained my hypothetical, but then instead of sticking to the point of the Constitution, you said, well, how would you bring about your hypothetical? And then when I gave
you missed out the part where the Constitution's quite hard to change.
Hold on. I understand that. I gave you.
I also wanted to get a sense of where you are, and you're a great replacement guy. So that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and you're a real good journalist because you don't talk to people who identify as like a political ideology. I mean, that's a very liberal idea.
I don't debate fascists. I'll talk to them, but I won't debate them.
Frankly, that's upsetting. I think there's a big problem when we value freedom of speech so much, but any real journalist is not going to talk to somebody because they identify with the politically incorrect ideology.
Just talk to the guy in front of you. What are you talking about?
You literally stopped talking to him, and then everybody had to vote him out.
Debating versus talking is very different. Okay. It's pointless, right?
Okay. Also, the First Amendment means that you can refuse to talk to people. You know what I mean? Like, you can just decide people are not worth your time and not engage with them. That's not violating the First Amendment. Like, what? The conservatives have such a warped view of what the First Amendment means. It's like, First Amendment, I can prevent anyone from saying something that I don't agree with, but if anyone ever says anything mean about me because of something I said, then therefore my First Amendment rights are being infringed upon, as if the freedom of speech means freedom from the societal consequences of one's speech. Like, fuck no. Like, what are we doing?
He doesn't believe in free speech.
Okay.
He doesn't believe in democracy.
He was freely speaking with you. You're the one who shut up.
He doesn't. No, he said very clearly.
Okay.
He said, I support free speech so that I can get one election. After one election, my guy comes in. And after my guy comes in, nobody gets to speak or vote again.
We all listen to your
Why
conversation.
would I debate that?
We listen to your conversation. Let's
bring
it back to this topic.
Because you just
Let's bring it back to the Constitution.
Please do. First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th Amendments. Those are the ones I'm saying Trump is defying. Do you support that or do you deny them?
I believe that the Constitution is valuable because it represents particular interests of the founding stock of Americans who made this country great.
Do you think due process is important? Some would say that's at the very core of American Constitution. Fifth Amendment.
And what I think makes the Constitution function, what allows it to save this country and to actually make it work, are the people who are...
I'm not sure where you're going with this argument.
Hold on. I'll show you.
Is Trump defying the Constitution? That's my claim. You can have these weird hypotheticals
We're taking it into a different meta, which is what's the function of the Constitution?
I'd rather not have your...
You already did.
Yeah,
literally just 5 minutes ago when you took it to immigration.
Now I don't want to.
Okay. Let's bring it back.
I want to bring it back to the First, the Fourth, the Fifth, and the 14th Amendments, and the 22nd Amendments. Either you say, hold on, you got two very good positions here. One is to say, I don't think he's defying them, and I'll say why you're wrong. Or you say, I don't care that he's defying them, as one of your colleagues said, in which case, I don't know where this conversation goes because you don't believe in democracy.
That's fair. Do you think it's wrong to dismantle the Constitution?
So there's two options ahead of you. Do you agree?
This is important.
Do you agree?
What I'm doing
is Donald Trump... Okay, let me ask a question back since you're asking me questions. You're not answering the basic point. Well, do you think Donald Trump is dismantling the Constitution? Can we agree that Donald Trump is dismantling? Because I'll agree with you on that. I think he is dismantling the Constitution.
I think he's
illegally, unconstitutionally,
I think he's interpreting it in ways that are more...
Which judges do not agree with him on.
Okay, hold on.
Which the Supreme Court has not agreed with him on.
And the judges don't agree with the people who wrote the Constitution.
How do you know that?
But it's meant to be amended.
Let's take your example of the Second Amendment. Let's say that a bunch of judges...
I didn't give the Second Amendment.
No,
I said
hold on.
Fourth. You don't want to talk about the ones I've given.
You're interrupting me. You're interrupting me.
Because you're ignoring me. First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th, 22nd Amendments. Those are my amendments that I came with today. If you don't want to debate them, just say so.
I'm trying to understand your ideology. You believe that dismantling the Constitution is okay when it's about parts of the Constitution that you disagree with.
Amendments.
You would be fine getting rid of the Second Amendment, even though that would be a dismantling of the Constitution.
No, because it would be done via Constitution. I'm not the one sitting here like your pal.
Okay, you have agreed. You have agreed the Constitution.
I'm not the one saying you just get rid of them willy-nilly. I don't agree.
We're ramping up.
I don't agree that Joe Biden should come in and say by executive order, if Joe Biden put out executive order saying Second Amendment no longer applies. I can round up everyone's guns. I don't agree with that.
Your result is exactly the same.
I don't agree with them. No, but I don't agree with the method of doing it. It's unconstitutional.
That's fine.
He would have been defying the Constitution, and I would have said so, but you can't bring yourself to say so. We've been sitting here for several minutes. All of your friends have seen me ask you several times, do you agree that Donald Trump is defying the First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th, and possibly 22nd Amendments? Your colleague at least admitted that he's defying the First Amendment.
I understand that you came in here. What you are attempting to do is simply frame this conversation like you did with the first claim about Donald Trump. But then when anybody asks you any kind of question that presses you to the least degree
I answered. I said I would dismantle the Constitution, but I would do it constitutionally, not by executive order.
So what I'm trying to get to is to prove to everybody who's watching that what you care about is not the Constitution in what it represents or creates. You care about the Constitution only insofar as it allows you to achieve your political worldview. We agree on that.
No, I care about the Constitution because I don't think presidents should be fascist dictators and violate the Constitution. That's what I'm saying.
You care.
And he is different. I don't think the president should have the power to lock you and me up if we write an op-ed that he doesn't like.
That's
I
awesome.
don't think the president should be able to crack down on us if you and I decide to go protest outside his parade.
I agree with
don't think the president should be able to deprive you and I of due process or come into our homes without a warrant.
And I think,
well, let's end on agreement then.
All right, pause. You've been voted
Mehdi.
out.
I'm glad
It's good to meet you. It's good
to meet you, Kai.
Great rhetorically. Let's end on agreement. Oh God, we got liberal coded girl.
Hey, how are
Must
you?
be
I'm Mehdi.
conservative
Hi,
to be here.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Colored
So
hair.
Trump is defying the 1st, 4th,
5th and
5th.
14th, and maybe the 22nd soon.
Okay. So I want to focus on the 1st
Okay.
and the 5th.
Okay.
So you say that Trump is defying the First Amendment. Can you give me an example?
For example, he banned the Associated Press from attending White House events. A Trump-appointed judge said that was against the First Amendment. He's been cracking down on media organizations he doesn't like over their speech. If they say stuff he doesn't like, for example,
Cracking down how?
So, for example, he banned the Associated Press from attending White House events because they
can't go
said
to the White House
it's the
either.
Gulf of Mexico. That's not how it works. They were already at the White House. He deprived them of access, so he punished them for their speech.
But
which is
are
why
they
a
allowed
judge,
to go to the press
Which is why a
room?
judge he appointed, Trevor McFadden, said this was contrary to the First Amendment. A Trump-appointed judge. He's called MSNBC and CNN illegal. Media organizations are not ipso facto
But that's free speech.
illegal.
He can call them whatever they want.
Attacking the media?
Wait, but
Yeah, he can
by the
attack
president as the executive?
wait.
Yeah, he can
And-
say whatever he wants. That's
Correct.
literally the First Amendment.
He can say whatever he wants.
Absolutely.
But the media can't say what they want.
They do.
But he's going after them. He's suing them. He's using lawsuits to crack down on the press.
They
Presidents
use
have not done that
lawsuits
before.
to give him 34 felonies that Hillary
Okay.
Clinton.
First, let's address this one point that I just think is like such a ridiculous reading of the First Amendment. Yes, you can have the First Amendment right to say you want to crack down on media organizations. We can still criticize you for that and say that you are attempting to do something that is unconstitutional. If I say I want to take all your guns immediately without due process and following any rules, it wouldn't be a correct retort when I'm attacked for that to be like, hey, I First Amendment, First Amendment. The claim isn't that he has the First Amendment right to do so. The claim is that his own words and actions defy the First Amendment. Okay, the First Amendment actually doesn't give you the right to say anything that you want to say. Things like incitement, which really should have been at the center, or really have been the case with January 6th, should not be protected First Amendment speech. But this is such a weird line to go on.
Did.
No media gave him a lawsuit.
No, but
we're
people
talking
on the
about the media.
Democratic side.
We don't talk about the Democrats.
Okay. So he can call them whatever he wants because that's the freedom of speech.
He's,
he can even
he's threatened to
discourage-
imprison reporters.
He absolutely.
He wants to imprison. He said reporters should go to prison for reporting. He threatened some of them with prison rape. Right? That is against the First Amendment.
Okay. How is that against the First Amendment?
You don't think sending reporters to prison for reporting that he doesn't like?
Did he do that?
He wanted to. He said so.
Okay,
I wanted them to go.
I would really like to.
So
fly.
other people stopped him doesn't mean he's not defying the Constitution.
So
He also said if you turn up,
he can want to do something.
Yes.
That doesn't mean he will or he can.
Okay.
And I think he's very.
Well, I've already
aware
given
of
an
that.
example of something he did do to the Associated Press, but okay.
Yeah, okay, so the Associated Press isn't allowed in the Oval Office, which is his office, that's his executive space.
Okay.
And they are allowed in the press room, just like CNN, just like The Guardian.
Which he thinks are illegal media organizations.
He can think whatever he wants.
calls the media the enemies of the people.
You called him a fascist.
Yeah.
Yes, because he is.
you can say whatever you want.
Yes.
Yes.
But the
and
president is. I'm not the president of the United States with executive
so
power
no, okay,
to
so
crack
then
down on the
First
media.
Amendment only applies to the citizens, but not the president.
I never
of the
said that.
United States.
In
Okay,
fact,
so
Donald
then
Trump
he
runs
can
his mouth
say-
more than anyone.
Absolutely, he
Yeah.
does.
And he
is-
doesn't just
he
say
is-
stuff. As I said, he actually does stuff. He actually does crack down. For example, Fifth Amendment.
Yes.
Due process.
Yes,
Judges have actually said you have violated due process.
Yes,
of
except
people
for
on trial.
people kind of forget the Clinton, the 1996 Immigration Reform Act,
Yeah.
where you can get limited due process when you have expedited.
American citizens?
No.
What about American citizens?
Who's getting deported? That's American.
Two American children have been deported multiple this year. Have you not been?
No. Their parents have been deported, and their parents say,
No,
"I'm
the
gonna
father was
take
American.
my baby."
No.
Was mom legal?
We don't know because they didn't go to court, and the judge.
They
by
don't
the way,
have to go to
by the-
court.
yes,
That's
they
not
do.
a part of the due process.
That absolutely is. Okay, expedited due process, all that means is due process looks differently for people who are accused of immigration crimes than it does for other crimes, okay? We're not having this is the problem with like Trump when he's like, oh, we need to have all these trials. They aren't trials. It's having your day in court in front of an immigration judge to have your case heard and have the ability to have that due process. They're just rounding people up and fucking deporting them. Okay, they don't even get their day in court. You absolutely need some sort of judicial process in order to ensure due process, okay? Like, Trump is directly defying it, okay? He deported thousands, I believe, hundreds or thousands of Venezuelans, of suspected members of a gang, some of which, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, because of his tattoos, okay? Like, what are we even talking about? And then when a judge ordered that he stop doing it, the plane that was en route, Donald Trump did not turn it around, and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, mocked the judge who did that. He mocked him by retweeting the president of, I believe, El Salvador, who said, "Oops, sorry." Like, what are you talking about?
Are you a lawyer?
I'm very aware of it.
Are you a lawyer?
Do I have to be? Oh, we're making an argument.
Are you a lawyer?
It's
a simple question.
No.
Are you a lawyer?
Okay, we're making an argument.
I'll take that as a no. A Trump-appointed judge in the case, not some Marxist lefty judges you people like to call them, a Trump-appointed conservative judge said it is illegal and unconstitutional to expel or deport an American citizen without meaningful process. He said that in April. So that was an act that Trump did. It wasn't speech. He got rid of an American citizen from the country without process.
So
that's the Fifth Amendment violation.
Since I'm not up to date on that specific
I can give you more.
I'm sure you can. So.
Well, you weren't aware that American citizens are being deported. It's a pretty big story.
Yeah,
maybe if you read the fake news, you might know. If you read the fake news, you might know what's going on. A lot of American
how
citizens
would I know what's going on if
deported.
I read fake news? I don't watch CNN or Rachel Maddow.
That's why you don't know that your fellow citizens have been deported this year.
My fellow citizens.
Are they not? American citizens haven't been deported?
Okay. When a child goes with their
All right, guys, that's time. Please return to your seat.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, before we go any further, Straight Air News to dive deep into the helping you understand. That's why we're so happy to be trying to make sense of san.com in this channel. You also thanks again to partnering with us on this episode.
Here we go.
Now let's get into it.
I feel like this is going to be where
My
it's
next
most
claim
wild,
is
even
that
more
immigrants
wild.
overall are good for America.
Oh, sorry, I hit my mic.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, nice to meet you, Daniela. So in regards to your claim, I just want to start by asking this. Do you care more about helping Americans or immigrants in this claim?
Immigrants are Americans. I'm an immigrant and an American.
Yes, that's
well, immigrants are not Americans.
dichotomy.
Americans are the people that were born here.
Wait.
That's not true. What's the basis of your claim for that?
Are you talking about people that get naturalized in the process of becoming American?
They're still Americans.
14th Amendment. Have you read it?
Okay, yes, I have.
Citizenship clause. It says any persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
I'm aware of that.
There's about 40 to 50 million naturalized Americans in this country.
Yes, but
you didn't seem aware of it because you said Americans versus immigrants.
So, but are you understanding that the process of getting all these immigrants that come in here we've been also, the millions of immigrants, it's up to the millions, it's the last 20 years now, and it has dramatically affected Americans here in the country, which
positively, I would
positively, yeah.
People like me and everyone around here, we cannot find homes or even get jobs within our own fields that we go to college for, that we get into debt for. And because more blue-collar work, especially in construction.
Maybe it's because fucking real estate companies are buying up all the properties and driving up rent. I'm sorry, it's not immigrants that are causing a housing crisis. Okay, it's the fact that there are predatory real estate and private equity companies who buy up all of these properties and then artificially drive up the prices. Your problem isn't with immigrants; it's with capitalism, and it's just so exhausting. I don't even know what to say. It's truly exhausting.
Agriculture and so forth, and the hospitality industry, we cannot get jobs in those fields, so it requires
Are you looking for a job in construction
I am
or
not,
agriculture?
no. I went to college.
Okay.
Many people here are in college or went to college, but we can't even find jobs in our fields, also because of the H-1B visa program as well. But in regards to just your claim about immigrants specifically, we cannot even get jobs to pay for housing.
Unemployment is at a record low right now, even under Donald Trump. And I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but I would say unemployment under both Biden and Trump has been at record low levels.
Okay, is this in regards for American citizens?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Well, I'm unaware of that statistic, but from what I see, from what I can
I'm an immigrant and an American, and I employ many American citizens, both naturalized and the ones born here. I employ Americans.
My parents came
Americans as defined by you.
My parents came as immigrants to become naturalized, so I'm not necessarily opposed to immigrants.
So you're the child of immigrants.
Correct. I'm a child of immigrants. I was born
But you don't
here.
accept that immigrants are Americans.
Not at this moment.
So your parents are not Americans.
Not at this moment.
So
no,
hold on, your parents are
they're
not Americans.
citizens. They became naturalized.
You just said you can't be citizens by being naturalized.
No, I was born here, and I'm not
Yeah, you're
opposed
born
to
here, right?
naturalization.
But
I never said that I'm against
Are your parents Americans?
Are you against naturalization?
No, I never said I was against
you
naturalization.
did. You began. Everyone was here. They can play it back on YouTube. You said Americans or immigrants. Are your parents Americans or immigrants?
No, my parents are United States citizens.
But they're immigrants. You said.
No, they came here as immigrants. However,
Okay.
but
So
I
they
want
are
to make the
immigrants.
They're
point
immigrants
that we
and
can't
they're
I
even-
came here as an immigrant. I'm an
But
immigrant.
at this point, when they came, the
I
United,
think that
the
people
United
aren't
States
happy with the way
economy,
this is going for you.
the United States economy was not at.
It's better now. The American economy is better than it's been
Not
for
from
many
the-
years.
not from the
And I can say
statistics
that
I
as someone
see.
who doesn't like Donald Trump.
We're
Which
giving
statistics are you
millions
seeing?
and billions of dollars
Which
to
statistics
people
are you
of,
seeing?
minorities as well as
The reason the
immigrants
economy is doing badly now is
that
because
we
Donald
can't-
Trump's
that we're giving
tariff
it to
policy.
loans. We can't
Nothing
even
to do
get
with
businesses.
migrants. In fact, the
They can't
congressional.
even start businesses.
I'm an immigrant. I started a business. In
No,
fact,
I
in
understand
fact,
because the SBA
immigrants
is
are-
giving people
immigrants-
billions
I didn't
of
take any
loans.
loans
They're giving
from
them
SBA.
billions.
I didn't take any loans.
I'm not
from
saying you
SBA.
did, but I'm
Okay, well,
saying that
I did.
statistically speaking, they're giving billions of
So
loans
should we
to
do
these
statistics? According to statistics, immigrants are 80% more likely to be entrepreneurs than native-born Americans.
Sure,
They're more
absolutely.
likely to start
No,
businesses
I'm aware of
and
that.
hire Americans.
No, I'm aware of
right?
that,
Immigrants
but
are
we
more
also-
likely to pay in taxes than
Yeah.
take out in benefits.
And
They're
I'm-
more likely to add to innovation and jobs and wages. This is what the statistics show. The Congressional Budget Office.
understand how you
Let me just finish my
understand
point and then let you come back
Okay,
in.
go
The
ahead.
Congressional Budget Office, which is bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats both use it. They have said that the immigration surge that you mentioned will lead to an extra $9 trillion of GDP over the next 10 years. That amounts to $65,000 per American household. That's $65,000 for each and every one of you holding up a red flag.
Okay, I
All
understand
right,
that, but
pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your
Nice
seat.
to meet you.
nice to meet you. Thank you.
Oh, it's this guy from the intro.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Mehdi.
What's going on, man? Nice to meet you. All right, so first, before I start, I need to know what you mean by good. I can talk about the economy, I can talk about culture, I can talk
Great.
about all those things. I need
All
to
of
know
them.
what you mean.
All of them.
All of them.
I'm saying immigrants are good for the economy. They're good for
You think lower
culture.
wages are
They're
good for the
for
economy?
society. Where's the lower wages?
What do you mean, where's the lower wages?
Where are the lower wages?
Yeah, so you can
What's
look
the
at the
basis for saying there are lower wages?
Sure, so you can look at like the STEM industry. It's been in like a complete and total recession. There's been tons of studies like from the Economic Policy Institute that shows that like companies like Tesla, companies from like Silicon Valley, they engaged in mass firing of workers, around 35,000, but then they hired around 12,000 H-1B visas. And it's kind of just standard economic thinking. If you
It's not standard economic thinking. The vast majority of economists and economic
Disagree with
studies
you.
suggest that there is a negligible, if no impact on wages over time
That's not-
from
that's just-
immigrants.
that's
In
just-
fact, your colleague mentioned earlier, construction, there is actually evidence in construction, yes. But in some industries, in some areas, there is an impact. But overall, no. In fact, a study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that migrants since 1965 have raised wages
Who's that
and
by?
raised innovation.
Who's that by?
productivity. National Bureau for Economic Research.
No, hold on. That's where you publish studies. I'm asking
Yes,
for
I
the
didn't
author.
memorize the names of the authors.
Yeah, I know you did. Right?
Could you
It's
give
from-
me the authors you've got?
Yeah, hold on. The study you're talking about is from Giovanni Perry, and what he did is he didn't account for aggregation issues, nor did
The
he.
vast majority
Hold
of
on,
studies.
let me speak,
Please.
Yeah, thank you. Right. So listen, he didn't account for aggregation issues, right? And when you look at like the spatial approach, which is what all these economists use, you're not accounting for the fact that when immigrants come into an area, natives leave. If you look at an occupational approach, where you look at the specific firms and immigrants.
Hold on, can we just pause for a second? When immigrants come in, natives leave. I'm sorry. So native citizens have lower wages or lose their jobs because they're racist. Like what do you like? Actually, actually, it is true that immigrants have lower wages because white people fucking can't stand being around people who aren't like them. What the fuck? Oh my god! Like, this is just comical. Like, it's your fault that I felt threatened because of the color of your skin and your culture, and therefore I left. Oh my god.
Going into like Kim ETAL 2013 did. You find a net negative impact when there's a 10% increase of immigration. You find around a 0.5% decline in wages when it comes to the specific occupations they're going to.
Wait, which
So
one?
All your studies are flawed.
So 0.5%. Weigh that up against what I just mentioned for the Congressional Budget Office, which is a massive boost in GDP per head, which you're not counting for. Massive increase in tax revenue. Immigrants are actually funding the deficits and debts by paying way more in taxes proportionately, including undocumented immigrants. And what's interesting about wages is I'm in a room full of, I don't know what to call you anymore, conservatives, Republicans, fascists, I don't know. One of you has proudly said
You can
that.
call us correct.
One of
That's
us
what you can
proudly.
call
Oh,
us.
yeah, correct. I'm in a room full of correct people, but do any of you actually care about wages? Because, for example,
I actually do.
For example,
right?
do you support raising the minimum wage?
Absolutely, and you
Great.
can't do that
Oh.
when you're bringing all these
Great.
people
So
coming into
that's
your
not the
country.
reason the
Yes,
Republican
it
Party
is.
blocks the minimum wage. You think Republican politicians don't vote for an increase in minimum wage because they're worried about immigration.
Did I
We have
say I
not
voted
had an
Republican?
increase.
Did I say I
We've
voted
not-
Republican?
Well, I'm on a show that was called 25 Far-Right Republicans.
That
I'm
doesn't mean I'm going to
assume you
support
are.
every single Republican
Good. So
candidate.
you
right?
and I, good. So you and I,
Yeah, but don't
let's
support-
agree.
I don't
We
support-
both support raising the minimum wage. Yes,
100%.
$7.25
Wow.
since 2009. It's lost 30% of its value.
100%.
If you care about wages, we should be raising the minimum wage in this country, not scapegoating migrants who aren't the cause of low wages in the country. You know who's causing low wages? Billionaires, millionaires, and people who won't pay fair wages to their wages, regardless of whether you are an immigrant or a native.
I get the monologue, right? Now let me respond.
You had one. You had one with your one study that had a 0.5% impact. Go.
Yeah, and your study sucked that you didn't even know who wrote it, right? So let's get back to the point, right?
Because I don't need to know one study. The majority of studies say that wages are not impacted by migration.
The majority of your studies are flawed. That's what I'm telling you.
My studies. Right. Neither of us are economists. It's the economist studies.
Don't assume who I am.
Are you an economist?
I could be.
But
right.
Are you?
I could be.
Are you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Are you?
I'm going to major in economics, right?
Are you an economist?
No, not right now.
Okay, so when I said neither is economist, I was correct.
Just don't assume.
To use your favorite word.
See here, dude, this is nothing of substance. You look at the red flags; they're coming up. Let me get to the point.
Great, but
so
when you talk about
the CBO, one thing you're not accounting for here is that they're assuming an equilibrium, right? Do you know what that means? You shouldn't make these type of assumptions. You said earlier that unemployment.
Do I know what it means? I thought we're not doing assumptions.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned we were at 4.2% unemployment. Yeah, that's counting people who have part-time jobs. That's counting poverty wages.
Always been counted.
Yeah,
I'm against poverty wages. Can we agree again?
Yes. If you go to the Lookwood Institute, they calculated a way where it's functional unemployment. Okay. If you account for things like just people who make around $25,000 a year, people who have fallen out of the labor market, people who only work part-time, if you count all of those people together and then add on the unemployment, that's around 25% of the population. So when you go, we don't have jobs.
I'm just curious why they didn't fact check that. You know what I mean? Regardless of where he's at, find the sources, and if he's right, put him up. If he's wrong, put the fact check in and show that he's wrong. But the fact that they didn't put him in makes me think that this guy's pulling it out of his ass. Granted, I'm not familiar with all these studies, but all right.
We don't have people to do this, and that, and the other. No, yes, we do. Okay, we don't have a labor shortage. We have a good job shortage. And when you keep bringing these people in, and they're taking those jobs.
The good job shortage is the fault of big firms, employers. I'm an employer. I can say that.
Who hires the immigrants?
Who hires the immigrants?
Yeah.
Employers.
Exactly. So when you bring up these big firms,
so
that's the way that keeps wages down. You understand that, right?
So let me ask you a question. If you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you think that Republicans and employers of big firms would suddenly raise all the wages?
You notice
that's
how
what
you
you
didn't
believe.
answer what I said. You
That's
notice
what you believe.
It was a complete. Your ankles
That's what you believe.
You pivoted the hell away from the conversation.
Is that what you? I'm on the subject.
Okay?
Do you believe that wages? I'm just wondering how naive you are. You believe that the 1% will raise wages in the federal wage if we stop immigration?
They will be forced to. When you increase labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're tightening the supply of labor.
This is a very simplistic understanding of economics because you're
explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs.
About 1/5 of their monthly income leaves the country.
That's a good thing also because you don't like US aid, foreign aid. So this is the point. They create jobs. I came into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like... I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this bullshit about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left-wing
politics.
politics.
I never said Americans are lazy.
I don't know why you say this.
I never said Americans are lazy.
Yes, you are. You're saying
attacking
immigrants have to come into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do. That's exactly what you said.
When did I say it?
Oh, really?
When did I say it? We're on YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do. When did I say those words? Words that came out of my mouth.
Okay, so why do we have to bring in immigrants? Why do we have to bring in immigrants to the country if we have people who are going to do the jobs?
Pause. You've been voted out.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
You're going to have to go, bro.
Nice talking to you. You're going to have to go, bro, is what he said as I left, to an American citizen. Good to know where you stand on immigration. It's not about immigration, is it? That's what it's not about. Hey, how you doing?
This dude is
good to see you. How are you?
Dapper.
Not bad. Right. So
he has the same tie too. God damn it, bro. Wait, comment down below. Do I have to get rid of this tie? Is this tie permanently tainted? Can I never wear this again? 2 fucking fascists on Jubilee wore this tie. I don't. Let me know in the comments. Is it done for? Is it is it done, or should I reclaim it? I need to know. What do you guys think? All right, let's continue.
What are we talking about?
What do you mean?
Let me go back.
What type of immigrants are we talking about?
What do you mean?
Any immigrants or
immigrants? That's what I said. Immigrants
are illegal
overall.
immigrants.
Undocumented immigrants also contribute greatly to the U.S. I say undocumented. I don't think people are illegal.
So, let's put it this way. I mean, I'm an immigrant too, from Iran.
Okay.
There isn't even
How
a
do you
U.S.
feel about the fact that people here want you out? Are you okay with that?
I'm here to debate you, not debate them.
I mean, you're all on the same side. You're part of one group.
No.
You've been clapping each other.
No, I mean, there are conservatives here. There are far-right people here. There are Republicans
But how
here.
do you feel about that guy wanting me and you to leave?
But,
I'm just wondering. This is the topic of immigration.
It's not
how
about
do you feel about the guy?
It's not about my feelings towards them.
Okay.
It's about staying on this topic.
Okay.
And
Immigrants are good for America, yeah. You and me, we're good for America. And the guy over there wants us to leave. So I'm just wondering how you feel about that.
So I believe that there has to be strict immigration laws.
Okay.
We have to make sure that the people are coming here have the good intent of the United States in mind.
That's not my claim, but okay.
So
my claim is about immigrants are net positive.
If we just open our borders to every single person that wants to be here, that claims that they have economical hardship in their country.
Who's calling for open borders?
No, I'm just saying,
it's a straw man. So you're just saying a straw man.
No, I'm saying
you're wasting time with a straw man. No one's calling for open borders. I didn't call for open borders.
You wasted
I said
time.
Immigrants who
wasted time trying to cause division between me and my
division.
friends over here.
He wants you to leave the country. That's a pretty big deal.
All right.
I mean, you can ignore it, but that's your side, my friend.
Like I said, you were the one that tried to derail this argument.
Derail?
By bringing that.
It's literally core to my argument. I'm saying immigrants are good to America. People on your side are saying we should leave. Not me.
And
me and
I
you.
asked you, what type of immigrants are we talking about? Are we
immigrants
talking about
overall?
Overall. So
I mean, we're not gonna.
So
you want me to get into like particular communities? I'm not playing that.
So
game.
you believe that people that come here without
overall
any respect,
help the society,
without any respect to our laws and our border, are going to be good for this country?
No, of course not.
So you can't say that all immigrants overall.
I never said all immigrants.
Well,
I said immigrants overall. Immigrants overall doesn't mean all immigrants. Sorry to break that to you.
All right. So we have to make sure that the people are coming here have the good intent of this country in mind. Agreed?
Yes.
All right,
irrelevant to my claim.
But when you have undocumented immigration going on, you can't vet that. You can't make sure about that. Let me real quick, talk about my background. There is no American embassy in Iran. So in order to come here, you have to stay in line for 4 years, and you have to go through some serious vetting procedure to get here. But I made it. And that process has to be in place because, you don't want terrorists to fill this country.
I made it too. I'm an American citizen. I went through lots of vetting. I took my test.
And that's how
the guy
it should
over there
be.
wants us to leave.
But
he wants us to leave.
When people
don't really care about vetting, do they? It's not really about vetting, is it, my friend?
People should not have
denial.
People should not have the right to ignore our borders and our laws.
What about those of us who don't ignore the borders? Should we get to stay?
Of course.
But he says we shouldn't.
Well, I'm not debating him.
You kind of are because you're all together on this.
No, I'm debating you.
Okay. And I'm pointing out to you that your argument is in bad faith because these guys are actually speaking the truth and you're in denial about who's on your side. He wants you gone.
I never claimed that I'm on their side or they're on my side. Okay. I'm here to debate you.
All right, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Here we go.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Mehdi.
Edwin.
Nice to meet you.
The question is, immigration is good for America, right?
Overall.
If you look at the net positives to things like our society, our culture, our food, our economy, our general diversity, I know the D word is a bad word in places like this. I think immigrants have been a net positive. I think if you look at your everyday lives, we all benefit from immigration.
And what kind of conservatives disagree with that?
Some of the guys who told me to leave this place and go back to, I'm not a citizen.
Do you think all conservatives?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, in fact, Ronald Reagan, who's a president I wasn't a big fan of until Donald Trump came along. Now people like Reagan look good in comparison. Reagan said in 1986, our country is a nation of immigrants. Our immigrant heritage is our strength. He gave an amnesty to
Reagan is the reason that trickle-down economics was ever something that was prevalent and led to mass poverty. Let's just be completely honest there. His economic policy, Reaganomics, was disastrous for this country. So, I'm not going to make comparisons here and say, Trump is terrible and awful as well. But Reagan's detrimental, generational damage to our economy and our society is unparalleled. Okay, Reagan did more damage to the economy than Donald Trump has done, or probably will do, unless he makes things vastly worse. And that's saying a lot, considering his tariffs are pretty bad, but they're nothing close to the lowering of tax rates to so low for corporations. It is. We're not Reagan fans here, okay? I know Mehdi's not, but we're not Reagan fans, and he's really bad, okay? Really bad.
Million undocumented migrants. He understood the value of immigration, so I'm with Reagan. Yeah, although this guy's putting his thumb down there, so Reagan's not popular in right-wing crowds these days.
Yeah. Well, he's popular with me.
Good to hear.
I'm a deferred action of childhood arrivals. I was an illegal immigrant myself.
Ooh.
I came here when I was 10. I'm what you would call a legal alien now.
What?
I didn't have any say on my parents' choices.
Yes.
Do I think that they were well-meaning by wanting to bring me over for a better future? Absolutely. I believe that.
Yeah.
Did they break the law? Yes. Do I agree with people breaking the law? Not necessarily.
Bro's contemplating.
Do I think that there's ever a situation where you can break the law for the better or the greater good. You know, immigration is it's an interesting issue because I do agree with you that
good to hear.
Everyone is an immigrant in the sense like.
What side are you on?
Can you tell me a little bit more about your journey?
I've been here 10 years. I'm a proud American citizen. I'm a dual national. I'm British. I'm American. And I am an immigrant who's contributing to this country. So, yes, I'm very much proud of America's immigrant heritage. I'm part of it. And despite what one of the other people said on this show earlier, everyone here, unless you're Native American, is a descendant of immigrants.
Sorry, you've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Thank you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, it's the transphobic dude.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Actually, a fan. I see you a lot on Piers Morgan.
Okay, thank you for watching.
Yeah. So, my argument is that Americans are what is a nation? A nation is a geographical location full of people who have some things in common. So, I think some of the things, typically in history, are going to be like race, religion, ethnicity, language. These are some of the things that we have to have in common in order to actually have a functioning civilization, especially in self-government. I'm not necessarily a giant fan of self-government. I'm a Catholic nationalist. I'm not a fascist. You have to have at least some things in common in order to actually have a civilization. And the immigrants, especially illegal immigrants that come into this country now, disrespect us. They hate everything that we believe. They don't even speak our language. I watched, after Trump got elected, I watched an interview of an illegal alien woman crying and about getting deported, and the entire interview was in Spanish. That is a spit in the face.
It makes sense.
It's disrespect. They don't care about us. They abuse our system.
So someone's vulnerable and someone's about to be deported, and God forbid we interview them in their native language. Like, how void of fucking humanity are you? I'm forever shocked by these people. That, wow, this woman is getting deported and she's in tears. And you have the fucking audacity to be like, they did it in her language and then offended me. Fuck off. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry.
Teleological argument into just a bunch of series of wild, unsubstantiated claims.
Well, I'm asking you, what is
I don't accept any of those claims that they hate everything we stand for, and I don't accept. Well, I'm not going to deal with the teleology. I'm going to deal with the false claims that you made. There's no what's your basis for saying that all immigrants or all undocumented immigrants hate everything we stand for? It's funny that you said you're a Catholic nationalist. How did most Catholics get to America? Irish Catholics, Italian Catholics. Immigration. Much of the people coming across the southern border are Catholics.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
So it's really funny that you say you're a Catholic nationalist, but Catholics came to America via immigration.
Yeah. So
immigration is good for America. You and I can agree. Otherwise, people of your faith wouldn't be here.
No. Well, we were here on this side of the world, in this continent, from conquest. We came over here.
But the big surges of numbers, as you well know, because you're a smart guy, Italian, Irish immigration waves, Catholic immigration waves.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not even claiming.
Against those?
I'm not even
Were
claiming.
you against those if you were alive then?
I'm not even claiming that
immigration
immigration
a lot of people
is
were
bad.
against those.
I'm not claiming immigration is bad in all cases at all times.
What is your claim?
My claim is that immigration, especially now, and especially for foreign people that have nothing in common with us,
it's funny that you say it's especially
a negative
now.
thing.
I forgot your name. My apologies. Brian.
Yeah. How many?
In every era, there has been a Brian who says, "I'm not against immigration, just immigration now."
Okay.
This is what people said about Italians. It's what people said about Irish folks. Said about Russians, Poles, and now we're saying about people coming across the southern border. Because you're not being, you're being a little disingenuous. Saying I'm only against immigrants now. This is a trope.
How's that disingenuous?
This is because it's a trope that's been used by nativists throughout American history, and every wave of immigrants has come in and faced the same hate and animus and bigotry and lazy tropes, and every wave of immigration is ultimately assimilated, integrated, benefited the country. In fact, assimilation right now, according to Jacob Victor from the University of Washington, assimilation rates based on language and citizenship and naturalization are higher now than 100 years ago.
Okay, let me make a statement first. I think that you in your
ignored my statement, but
you and your own person are a complete perfect example of why immigration is negative and why we shouldn't allow people who don't have anything in common with us. You're pro-abortion. You're pro-euthanasia. You're pro.
I'm pro-euthanasia.
Yeah, you went. I've seen your stuff. You've defended euthanasia.
Pro-euthanasia.
Yeah, on Piers Morgan.
No, I've never discussed euthanasia
well,
with Piers Morgan in my life.
Okay, so my point is that
He
you
just
don't
made that
agree
shit up.
with
Actually, I'm the guy
founders of
here.
this country.
If anyone watching at home, I'm the only guy here who actually supports American values, democracy, free speech, the Constitution. I've got folks here telling me they don't believe in democracy, that they're nationalists.
Wait, why should we care about that, by the way?
Isn't that what America stands for? What does America stand for? So you hate what America stands for, not me.
I'm not even
and
saying...
in fact, all the studies show that immigrants actually are more patriotic than native-born Americans.
The only reason why, that's the Mexicans in LA right now burning it down, waving Mexican flags.
LA's being burned down?
Please don't send us back to the country that we're waving the flag of.
I've been in LA for a few days. I didn't see anything burned down.
Yeah, I know the riots have ended. That's because Trump sent.
But if it's burned down, where's it all burned down? I haven't seen it. I've traveled around all of LA. You said LA was burned down. LA is 500 square miles. It's not a figure of speech, actually. It's another false claim of yours.
No, they're burning.
I support euthanasia. LA's burned to the ground.
Bro, just
immigrants hate what we stand for.
Okay, so
I'm super relaxed.
So you're pro-abortion.
But you're just saying one false thing after another.
So you're pro-abortion,
and I'm standing by my position. Immigrants are good for.
You're pro-abortion. You're an immigrant.
I'm pro Roe v. Wade. Personally, I'm not pro-abortion. If you knew anything about me, you know.
Roe v. Wade is.
All right, pause.
Why are we talking about
You've been voted out.
I was going to say nice to meet you, Brian, but I guess not. You made it.
Great to see you. My name is Cyrus.
Nice to meet you, Cyrus.
I am also son of 2 immigrants, came in legally. I'm also Persian descent.
Fantastic.
Born in LA.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Terangeles.
Yes. Well, I am mainly upset, not at the immigrants, legal or not. I'm mainly upset at Wall Street. I'm mainly upset at the elites, the special interests.
I'm with you.
They are the main reason why we've been having this issue since 1965. And most want to do well. There are a few bad apples, we can agree.
Okay.
But we want to go after the elites. They are the main cause of the problem.
Absolutely.
And just like healthcare, trade, everything.
Did you know, Cyrus, that the top 1% dodge $163 billion in taxes every year, while undocumented people pay $100 billion in tax? So I know where my anger is against.
There are issues with our tax system on the rich, but in a state like California, some taxes are too high. I used to live here, now I live in Las Vegas.
Different debate.
Okay.
I'm saying immigration is good for America.
Depends on the
People
taxes.
like you and me overall are good for America is what I'm saying.
Okay, but it depends on how it's done.
Yes.
It depends on how it's done.
And how it's been done
so
for the US.
I'm not blaming the housing crisis on immigrants, not on wages, but in a state like California that doesn't build enough homes and they're bringing immigrants in,
So now
you
you're
have to
blaming them on the
increase
housing
supply of
crisis.
housing.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
but this is where our anger is at the political class.
I agree.
The Democrat Party used to have a different stance on immigration 15 years ago. Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not here to defend different Democrats. What I will say is
that's our anger.
What I will say is that everyone here actually does think immigration is good for America. Everyone here uses an iPhone designed by an immigrant, is on Gmail designed by an immigrant, is on a YouTube show.
But
you
this
guys all came to a YouTube show founded by an immigrant. You wouldn't be here.
But that's
if it
a
wasn't for
tiny
an immigrant.
minority.
So you all love immigrants, whether you like it or not.
Okay, but it is a taboo subject. Should we be concerned about the demographics? So
no.
Anglo-Saxon, European American, 0% of America, it doesn't matter.
Are they 0% of America?
Well, let's say if it becomes 0%, it should not worry.
They're not going to. Why are you bringing weird hypotheticals?
But there has to. But, I mean, they're still part of our country. There's culture. There's. I mean, even Britain. Like, it
America's
concerns
gone
me.
through many
But
demographic
it
waves,
concerns me when Britain is changing,
Britain
and it's. You know, it's like they're
Britain's been
losing their
changing for
culture.
years.
But it's
Who said
losing
they're
their
losing their
culture.
culture?
Are they? Are they going to try to?
I'm from the UK. I'm telling you, no one's losing their culture.
London is going to be very little British in one
says
day.
so?
What's the plan? That's what we want to know. What's the plan?
You just made that up. Have you been
But
to London?
how do we know?
Cyrus, have you been to London?
No.
So then maybe you shouldn't comment on places you don't know anything about.
But what's the plan?
I grew up in London. London's a very British city. I was in London a few weeks ago.
Okay.
It's a very British city.
I hope not. I understand that there are people in this audience that don't like me or you in this country, and I respect that. There's some that don't even want me to date a blonde woman. They want to keep to their own, or ginger or whatever. I respect that, but there has to be a deal made. There's Idaho.
Why the fuck do you respect that? Like, why do you fucking hate yourself? Why do you respect that people don't believe in your right to exist in this country? Or date who you want to date because the bloodline won't be pure or some eugenicist Nazi shit like that. Like, no! Fuck those people. You should hate those people. Absolutely. They're dangerous. Okay? Like, you don't have to respect them. They are the last people who are worthy of your respect.
Montana, they can go live in a homogeneous society. I don't believe enforce, okay? And I believe that there has to be a deal made. And I think there's upsides and downsides to diversity.
There's a deal made. People have elections, they vote for elections, and right now there's Donald Trump in the White House, not someone I support, but people voted for him.
Well, why did he get in mainly? Because we had
That's a big subject.
2016,
Not sure we have time to get into that.
2016,
There's a lot of
Bernie
reasons he got in.
Sanders. Okay.
Part of the reason he got in is that people in this room want people like me and you to leave, and they voted for him to try and make that happen.
I'm not surprised. One of the Charlottesville marchers doesn't like me. And I've met those people, and I respect their views.
Why do you respect their views? Thank you.
Well, they're wants.
Don't respect racists and fascists, is my
Thank you.
Well, they have their preferences.
Yeah, but they're wrong.
That's just, we can't change that.
Yes.
Actually, we can. That's why I tried to come in today, but anyway.
Yeah, there we
All
go.
right, that's time. Please return to your seat.
Thank you. Nice to meet you,
Great
Cyrus.
pleasure. Good.
People like him confuse me. Like, I'm like, who do you think these people are? Like, I'm like, they hate you. They literally don't want you in this country, and you admit that. Yet you like respect them. I don't know. It's lack of self-preservation, I guess. Like, I don't know, man. This is fucking weird. It's weird to see. I'm like, I don't know. Sorry, guys. I just want to point out right now, like, if you're watching this video and you're like, Oliver's just been sitting here watching. Yeah, I'm captivated by Mehdi. Okay, like I'm gonna put this video up, but like, part of me's like, am I really adding anything constructive to this? Because Mehdi's like just going to town. So I'll pipe in when I think it's relevant or necessary. But I'm just gonna let him cook. All right, I'm just gonna let him keep saying the amazing rhetorical points he's saying, because it's just, I don't know, it's like watching a master in his craft. Like this is what he's good at, and he is absolutely tearing them apart.
My final claim is that Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing.
We're seeing all of his prompts.
Hey, how are
Almost
you?
3 out of 4.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Ooh,
So
this white
why do you
nationalist
say
girl.
this is Donald Trump's plan? Why do you think that?
I mean, he says it's his plan. Have you seen his plan?
When
Have you
did
heard
he
his plan?
say it?
He said it standing next to Benjamin Netanyahu in January, February. He said it on Fox News in an interview on Fox. He said it on Air Force One when he was chatting to reporters.
Word for word, what's an example of what he said?
Word for word, he said, for example, we're going to clean out the Gaza Strip. He said they're going to leave. We're going to take control of it. He says, we'll own it. I would own it. He says, I'm not sure under international law how he can own a foreign piece of land. And when he was asked on Fox News, the people, the Palestinians who are being forced to leave, would they be able to come back? He said, no, they wouldn't. That is the...
Hold on, I think this is the girl who said there's nothing wrong with xenophobic nationalism and was over-focused or like super focused on how gay men have sex and how it might affect how they poop. All right, very serious individual right here.
True definition of ethnic cleansing, according to a UN definition of ethnic cleansing.
Why do you think that Trump is saying this? Do you think that he has some personal interest in cleansing Gaza, or do you think there might be some special interest group or perhaps religious or ethnic group that's, that maybe he received money from them and that's the whole reason why?
Oh, here we go.
He wants to cleanse Gaza, or why do you think that is?
Maybe
I don't do Donald Trump's motivations. I really don't care. My claim is that what he's doing is ethnic cleansing.
Well,
do you agree with that?
I would actually, probably agree, but I'm just...
You agree that it's ethnic cleansing? You agree with doing ethnic
cleansing? No, I don't agree with it, but I agree that's probably his plan. But I'm trying to figure out, why do you think that is? Because Donald Trump's a white man. He identifies as Christian. I'm not sure if he really is. But what interest does he have in preserving a Jewish ethno-state? Why would he have that?
That's a good question. You'd have to ask Donald Trump that question. I've got
multiple
views.
You don't
I'm sure you have many views.
That is not related to the prompt.
I'm not sure I like where you're going with your views, but
yes.
I think Donald Trump is definitely someone who's got financial interests in ethnic cleansing. He's got political interests. He loves the evangelical voters he gets. A lot of Christian evangelicals like to support Israel because they think Jesus will come back if all the Jews are gathered in one place with no Palestinians. I think he's going to make money, he thinks, from beachfront property with Jared Kushner. He said something similar in the past.
You think that's the real reason?
I think there's multiple reasons, yeah. I think financial, geopolitical, ideological, evangelical. I don't care. My claim is that what he's doing is ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing is a war crime according to the Fourth Geneva Convention.
Yeah, I agree.
It's against international law under the Rome Statute. So we shouldn't be part of that. The United States should not be supporting Donald Trump's plan for ethnic cleansing.
I agree.
Good.
What do you think? What do you think should be done instead with the Israel?
This is the problem with these people. Like, you just agree. You're supposed to go up if you disagree. If you don't disagree that Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing, if you're just going to go up there and agree, why the fuck are you going up there and run your mouth? No. You fully agree. Why are you here? I would just keep saying that. Okay, you agree with me. I just want to point out, you completely agree with me. You came up anyway. So why are we talking about what you're talking about? If you have a prompt that you want to talk about, how these episodes work is that I may choose your prompt for you to read your prompt to me. and you can bring and propose your prompt. But right now, the fact that you are not adhering to my prompt and talking about what you want to talk about is not making me want to pick you. So do you want to talk about this prompt? It seems like we're in total agreement. Like, so, yeah.
Gaza situation. I'm not sure what your stance is on this.
I would like to see a ceasefire in Gaza.
Two-state
I would like to
solution
see, I don't really get into debates about what solutions. I would like to see an end to the killing. I would like to see Gazans have freedom. I would like to see the Palestinians in Gaza somehow get their land back. 80% of Gaza right now is under Israeli military control or displacement. I would like to see freedom for the Palestinian people.
She's so far right, she hates
to go back to the core of this show, I support American values. One person, one vote, free speech.
It really is a religious and ethnic
It
battle.
is not a religious battle.
Well, yes,
no, it's
that
not.
is what it's obviously between Jews and Muslims. Both want control of the Holy Land.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What else? What other?
Actually, the founders of Israel were secular. They were not religious, actually. And I think some religious Jews, like Bezalel Smotrich, who's the Israeli government minister,
it doesn't really matter.
is a religious fanatic.
My point is,
no, the core of the conflict is over land. It's colonial. It's historic. It is not about religion.
Colonialism is for a reason.
The people who want to steal the land want everyone to believe it's religious.
My point is, why are we sitting here? Why are we sitting here? It's like a false dichotomy where we have to argue, like, do Jews get Israel? Do Muslims get Israel? Why are we?
I've never brought up anyone's religion.
How many of us?
I didn't bring up anyone's religion.
How many of us here are Christians?
I didn't bring up anyone's religion.
Trying to pick sides between Jews and Muslims taking over Israel. Like, don't you think that?
Hold on. First of all, I didn't bring up religion.
It's not.
Second of all, you know that a lot of Palestinians are Christian, right?
Some of them.
You're just reducing it to Muslim versus Jew.
Well, it's majority Muslim. Yeah, it's very.
But there are many prominent Palestinian Christians.
I agree. Yeah, but there's not that many.
So it's not worth.
So it is. Well, it is the reason. Why do you think Iran is backing proxies that want to take over Gaza and back the terrorism in Gaza? It's obviously because they want to.
They're ideologically aligned.
You don't think that's
ideologically
why?
aligned?
I don't think it's about religion.
No.
I've been following this conflict for decades. It's not about religion. People who say it's about religion, it's a distraction.
Well, it's a big part of it, I think.
No. I think it's become a big part of it. It's been weaponized by bad faith actors, sure. But I don't think that's the core. The core is that one group of people are dominating another group of people.
What group of people is it? But what group of people is dominating another group of people?
One ethnic group is dominating another ethnic group.
What ethnic group?
Jewish people.
Yes, dominating.
Arabs.
Yes.
But I didn't say anything about Christian, Muslim, Jew in a religious sense. Okay, Jews defined as religion and ethnicity. You know that, right?
Well, why do you think that Muslims want control of the Holy Land?
You keep saying Muslims. I didn't bring up Muslims.
Well, they're Muslim states. Like, what do you think? Like Iran wants to do with the Holy Land?
I didn't bring up Iran.
But that's part of the conversation. What do you mean?
No, it's not. The conversation is Donald Trump is doing ethnic cleansing, and you agree with me. So I'm not sure why you're still here.
Yes, correct.
It's part of the larger context.
It's a weird
of the
debate when you actually agree with me.
What I was trying to say is we kind of have this false dichotomy here, where we're trying to take the side of the Gazans, which mostly it's a Muslim majority, or the side of the Jews,
human beings who are suffering.
to try to decide who gets control over Israel.
I didn't say anything about control. I said don't ethnically cleanse.
America is a majority Christian country. Should we be deciding Christians should have control of the
Holy
Holy
Land? I agree. Donald Trump should not. Nothing to do with religion. Donald Trump should not be deciding what happens to Gaza. That's my claim. If you agree with me, great. Let's shake hands. Give the seat to someone who disagrees with me.
Do you think that America should just cut ties with Israel altogether?
What's your definition of cut ties?
Like stop funding them, stop being their military arm?
Yes, I'm on record saying that.
Yeah.
That was an easier debate.
Not for the same reasons. Oh, look who's back.
Whoa. Welcome back, Richie. You really want to be here?
First of all, I really thought that obviously where we started, where it ended up, there's a lot of aggression. I can see in your eyes there's a level of exhaustion from being here. This is where my empathy comes in. Where it doesn't is, when you have a room full of people that do agree with you, we have this opportunity to come together. And you're kind of mocking people when they do. So you mocked Sarah a little bit when you guys clearly had a common interest and goal to reach. So I can tell you're agitated.
Point.
I want to bring that all down.
He's just so
patient. I'm guessing you're not going to, but let's see.
No, I'm going to. I do want to point out some contradictions. First and foremost, I don't believe you're pro-American in the value system that you claim to uphold, especially with free speech, if you're not willing to debate people that don't share your values. That's very un-American.
Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing.
I don't believe it's ethnic cleansing, but because it's not his plan.
It is his plan. He said it's my plan.
No,
Benjamin Netanyahu called it his plan.
He is obeying someone else's plan.
Okay. Who is he obeying?
He is obeying Israel's plan.
There we go.
For the Greater Israel Project, of which this is one of those things that we can agree on.
Why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they have something on him. Maybe they have something on all Americans.
But you think it's a bad thing what he's doing?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
no,
Glad to agree with you.
But see, I don't want to shut down
I'm
the
not mocking
conversation.
you, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, perfect. But I want to take this opportunity because I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity again to say, you're not American. First and foremost, but you're not.
Remember when I said the agitation from you is not going to be lower?
What I'm saying,
you came to lower the temperature and then make racist remarks. You know that's a racist remark.
It's not racist.
You tell an American citizen.
But okay, perfect. You just proved your own point. You just said that was a racist position.
Yes.
Earlier, you argued this contention that America has no race. It's a bunch of immigrants that culminate together into
America has no race.
You inferred it. You absolutely did. Okay. So now you're saying it's racist for me to take an American nationalist approach. You're kind of
an American national approach. Is that a white approach?
I think it's a white nativist approach.
Okay,
of course.
So only Americans are white people.
Why did your parents immigrate
Americans
from India?
are only white people.
Why did your parents immigrate from India to the UK?
Because the UK colonized and conquered India.
Okay, why did you immigrate to America?
Because many reasons.
Okay, all opportunity. There's opportunity.
That's not true. You don't know.
The accent. Your accent is an affect of white Anglo-Saxon.
But you know there are 50 million Americans in this country.
I understand, but
none of them are Americans in your view.
What I'm trying to get you to do to reach a common ground here.
We're not going to reach a common ground because you said I'm not American.
Please try.
I don't think you're American.
I'm saying you're not.
I don't think you're American.
I'm saying you're not American due to values.
I don't think you're not American on values either. I think you're a little fascisty, a little racisty.
See, you're using these words. Okay, first of all, I want to say this.
I'm not just throwing them at you. You didn't come sit down. I said it.
Every conservative that has ever been shut down by leftists like you, for every conservative, for every conservative,
you've already said
for every right wing,
you've already said you're not
for
a
every
conservative.
Stefan Molyneux, Thomas Sowell, Nick Fuentes, all of those people.
Is Thomas Sowell American?
He's Australian. But that's not the point. I'm saying people that are on our side of the aisle that get shut down by people like you because you're leveraging this position of emotion.
You're joking, right?
No, I'm not. You're leveraging a position of emotion.
My side of the aisle is trying to deport you. The only shutting down is being done by you.
They're actually trying to genocide my entire race. So what are you talking about?
What?
What are you talking about?
You're a white genocide guy?
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
You know the fact you're.
I'm amazed that Jubilee find some of you guys. How do they find you?
Do you see
Did they email you? Do you have Gmail?
Why are you trying to oust me? This
you
is such
shop
a
at
cheap
Costco.
tactic.
Do you go to Nordstrom?
No,
all immigrants. Have you ever been on eBay?
No,
immigrants.
but I'm
You love immigrants.
No, I'm agreeing.
You love immigrants when they're helping you. You just don't like the color of my skin.
We're having a different conversation.
All right,
genocide.
We're having a different conversation.
All right, you've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Okay. I really wish we could have gone.
I mean, you believe in white genocide, so it's very hard to...
Correct.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice to
meet you.
Hello. So I'll switch over to the Gaza thing in a second, but first off, I just wanted to touch on that. You said that you support free speech, of course, right? So what I'm confused about is you've refused to debate people that have disagreed with you because you said that they're racist or they're fascist, right?
No. If we're going to do facts, they said they were racist and fascist. Get your facts right before you start arguing.
So isn't the whole entire point of a debate to debate people that you don't agree with?
I don't debate people who don't see me, A, as equal. No point. Or B, support democracy, because that would undermine the whole idea of the debate. If you don't support democracy, as our friend here doesn't, and support General Franco, then what is the point of a debate? The First Amendment doesn't mean you have to debate everyone. Somebody comes up to you in the street and starts talking to you. You don't have an obligation to carry on talking to them. I'm sure you go about your business. Somebody comes up to you in the subway and sits next to you and starts ranting in your face. So you're not going to start debating.
So everybody here in this
everyone here has hygiene standards, as do you. There are people you wouldn't debate, I'm sure, as well.
Okay. So can you please describe why you think Trump is supporting ethnic cleansing of Gaza just because he wants to take over the land there? How does that equate to killing them?
Not just take over the land. Kick out all the people. That is the definition of ethnic cleansing.
So isn't ethnic cleansing killing people? Because it seems like
just kicking them out.
You can ethnic cleanse people without killing them. And by the way, they have been killed. More than 50,000 people in Gaza have been killed by the Israelis, by people like Bezalel Smotrich, who said recently, the finance minister of Israel, we are going to Gaza to conquer, cleanse, and remain. We're going to annihilate the place. We're going to disassemble Gaza, he said. We're going to leave it behind as piles of rubble. That's the guy Trump's funding, supporting. That's the guy praising Trump. So yes, Trump and Smotrich are ethnically cleansing Gaza.
I cannot deny that thousands of people are dying in Gaza, but you need to realize, why are they dying? Is it possibly that they're attacking another country?
No,
just because
the people who are dying, we're not
killing,
attacking another country.
Just because Israel is killing more Gazans than Gazans are killing Israel, it doesn't mean Gaza is righteous and Israel is evil.
I never said anything about evil or righteous. I said
might
ethnic cleansing. You said don't they have to be killed? I said they are being killed, and the criteria for what's happening to them. If Donald Trump says these people have to leave and never come back, is that not ethnic cleansing? What is your definition of ethnic cleansing?
I would think ethnic cleansing is when you're killing off a large part of an ethnic group.
That's genocide. You're confusing your terms.
Yes.
Ethnic cleansing is removing one ethnic group using a deliberate policy by violence or terror-inspiring means to remove another population, another ethnic group from a certain geographic area. That's the UN definition of ethnic cleansing. That is what he's doing. When he was asked Donald Trump, can they come back? He said, no, they cannot. That is ethnic. I've heard all these. We've had people talk about white genocide today. You guys are nationalists. How would you feel if somebody came, a president of France came and told you to leave your land and not come back? Would you not feel you'd been ethnically cleansed from your home?
From America?
Yeah.
Well, because my ancestors were settlers here, not immigrants. They actually built
Palestinians
something.
are not immigrants in Gaza. They are indigenous people to the land.
Didn't Israel just give Gaza the land like a few decades ago?
No.
They didn't give it.
I'm pretty sure Israel used to have that land.
I'm pretty sure you're wrong. They withdrew from 2005 from the land, but control the
and then
air.
gave it to them in 2005.
No, they don't give it to them. They control the air, the sea space, the borders, the population registry. They controlled what went in and out. It was a prison, an open-air prison. That's not giving them
Don't they have
freedom.
a border with Egypt and then the Mediterranean
Yes,
Sea?
and the
So how's that
Israelis
a
and
prison?
Israelis and Egyptians work together because Donald Trump and Joe
Really?
Biden
The
and
Egyptians
Barack
that are
Obama.
Muslim?
Yes, they're funded by the United States. Did you know that Muslim countries do bad things too?
No, I know that they do bad things.
Okay, then, so we're in agreement.
All right,
Yes.
pause. You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Nice to meet you.
Is he going back up?
Oh, wow. Great.
Wow.
Hello, sir. Welcome back.
See you again, Mehdi. All right, so I agree that Trump wants to do a cleansing, but not an ethnic one, because that area requires a lot of cleansing. Because when you have a population that was taught from early childhood age to hate Jews, Christians, and pagans, you need some serious re-education.
Number one, that's not true. And number two, that's not what he's proposing.
Well, I mean, most Palestinians, by polling number, do support Hamas.
They support resisting Israel.
Well, I mean,
Can we first also point out that Israelis also are taught horrible things about Gazans and Palestinians? Their education curriculum and the things that they are taught and their media teaches them to view Palestinians as less than human. So if you want to make this argument that somehow Palestinians are taught to hate Jews and Jews are also taught to hate Palestinians and therefore you're against Gazans, like, get out of here. Like, no, you're against them because they're brown people. Let's be so fucking for real.
thing is, what did they do in the first place that they're in this, what you call open-air prison?
Great question. What did they do to deserve being occupied?
Well, here's the thing, because the Islamic Republic in Iran is using them as a tool.
What has Iran got to do with this?
As a tool for their Islamic expansion.
When did the Islamic...
Because they don't,
hold on. When did the Islamic Republic of Iran... You're Iranian American,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, I am.
When was the Islamic Republic of Iran founded?
1979.
When was Gaza occupied by Israel?
48.
Well, the very
67.
first time. 67,
Well,
yes.
48 is when Israel was
Can we do the
founded,
maths
but-
together? 12 years before the Islamic Republic of Iran existed, Israel was oppressing, occupying, dispossessing the people of Gaza. So your argument makes no sense.
And were there any terrorist organizations at the time?
The PLO was considered a terrorist organization by the entire Western world.
All right, so was Hamas there?
Hamas did not exist till the 1980s.
Exactly. My point is, after the Islamic Republic came,
What does this have to do with ethnic
became chaotic because the Islamic Republic has started to use the so-called innocent Palestinians for their own
So-called
ends.
innocent Palestinians. You don't think Palestinians are innocent?
Not all of them.
But what about the 17,000 children who were killed?
They're doing the same.
17,000 children were killed. Were they not innocent? Were they not innocent?
Who's responsible for that?
Israel, who
No,
dropped the bombs on
Hamas
them.
is responsible. Hamas is responsible for hiding in hospitals and making tunnels underneath
So
those
when
hospitals.
children are shot in the head by Israeli snipers not responsible for that?
Look,
It's a simple question.
Here's the problem.
When Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in Gaza in the head, as eyewitness testimony and doctors' testimony proves, that's not the fault of the Israeli snipers.
This is the problem, because when you have a
The problem is you won't answer the question. I'll ask you a third time. When Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in the head, is that not the fault of Israeli snipers?
Well, you gotta let me finish.
No, you got to answer the question. Fourth time.
Well,
when Israeli
I will
snipers
get to
shoot
your answer.
Palestinian children in the
I
head,
will get to your
we're running out
answer.
of time. I need to
Well,
know what you think about innocent children.
because I will
what
get
you
your-
said was pretty outrageous. You said
I will
so-called
get to your answer.
innocent Palestinians. For the fifth time, when Palestinian children are shot in the head by Israeli snipers, is that not the fault of Israeli
What did those
snipers?
children do?
What did
they
you
do?
tell me? Did the children deserve to be shot in the head?
Because the problem is,
you know,
over there,
millions of people are watching you say
they
to
start
justifying the
brainwashing
killing of
children. They start brainwashing children.
So
at
they
a-
should be
at a very
shot?
young
So
age.
you support
Exactly.
sniping children in Gaza?
Look,
do other people here support sniping children in Gaza? Is that a conservative position now?
What if they're wearing a suicide vest?
What?
They weren't.
Children?
But what if they are?
Children?
What if
of
they
children.
are?
I have friends who
What-
went
what-
there. Doctors went to
what
Gaza.
if-
Oh my
American
God.
doctors. They came back as we were multiple children.
What if
with
they're
gunshot
hell bent?
shots.
What if they're hell
What if they're
bent on
not?
killing you and your
What?
family?
A
10-year-old
children?
child, an 8-year-old child, a 6-year-old child.
You shoot them?
Because
This is
like I
bad
said,
for you.
like I
You're
said,
sitting on
they're
live
brainwashing
television
them. They're
where millions of people are going to see your neighbors, your
because
friends.
the millions
you
of
support
people,
the killing of
millions
children.
of people don't know what's going on.
Even your fellow right-wingers are saying, don't go this far. Like genocide, sure, but don't advocate
Millions of
killing
people
kids.
don't understand the brainwashing that is going on in Islamic Republic and in Palestine to create
You're
this
obsessed
hatred.
with Iran so much that you're supporting the killing of Palestinian children who never harmed you or any other Israeli. That's insane.
Look.
And the fact that you support Trump's ethnic cleansing now doesn't surprise me.
I didn't say ethnic cleansing. I said cleansing of the land.
All right, pause.
Because you need to cleanse the land from all the
Slobodan Milosevic
Pause.
said similar stuff.
You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
God. Yeah, I wouldn't really shake his hand either after that. Oh, he's fucking back?
How you doing? Good to see you again.
I'm good seeing you too, man. First thing I'm going to say is I'm not down for Israel. Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to say. And I don't
Frat
like when you
bro
come
language.
up here and you use the type of rhetoric that you do. You talk like all these like left-wing positions, and then you go to the last part, which is I don't support ethnic cleansing in Palestine. I think you're doing a huge disservice to pro-Palestinians when you start allying yourself with all these progressives. I don't think it looks good because you have all these conservatives in here who oppose war. They oppose intervention in the same tradition of Pat Buchanan and all the greats that came before
Not Donald
him.
Trump, though, sadly.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad. I do agree. I mean, he ran on an anti-war ticket. He said he
lied
was
to
going
you.
to. I didn't.
Because he lies, right?
You gonna let me talk, or you
Sorry.
just want to? Yeah, true. So, I mean, yeah, you keep going back to Trump. I don't think this is part of his plan. I think this is a plan of lobbyists. And this is not just
He's
unique
going
to
along
Trump.
with
It's been
it.
a thing since the
Okay.
Democrats. It's been a thing since the Republicans before him. It's been like this since Truman. I don't know if you read like John Mearsheimer's The Israel Lobby
have.
or anything like that. Would you
I have.
agree or disagree with anything like that?
Oh, I agree with Stephen Watt and John Meshemer, yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
great. So I'm just wondering, when you ally yourself with all these leftists and
Who's he
you come up
allying
here and
him
you
with?
argue for immigration,
What?
you argue up here that Trump's this bad criminal and this and that, and
Yeah.
then you
think Trump's bad too?
I think he's good on some questions and bad on other things, but let me get to my point here, is you ally yourselves with guys like, Jewish Voices for Peace and all those guys.
Great people.
Yeah, not really though.
Why?
Because they're self-interested in it.
They're not, by definition.
It says it on their home page.
By
that-
definition, they're not self-interested, right? They're going against their own
Are you
community.
going to let me talk? On their homepage, it literally says that we are here to segregate Judaism from Zionism. It's very clear they're doing this in their own interest. That's why it literally
Why would
says
that be in
Jewish
their
Voices for
interest?
Peace. They're going to be the good Jews who say that we don't support Palestine. And then what happens is you take all of these progressives, you go out there and LARP in the street, and then everyone here who's conservative, they're going to vote for the pro-war candidate because they don't want to be associated with all the
Oh,
liberals.
so you're forced to vote for pro-war people. Poor
It's either that or get
conservatives.
replaced in my country. What do you want me to do?
Oh, you and your
Whoa.
replacement bullshit.
Yeah,
Thank
okay,
you.
buddy.
Mehdi's doing such a good job.
Oh, wow. There's 3 people so far. Let's keep counting. We should be nicer to you, otherwise you'll deport us. What a great argument. This is a free speech debate camp. It's not your country, my friend. It's our country, whether you like it or not.
Good for him. Who is he gonna choose? Who the fuck would he choose? Who's that guy who really was like nice?
I thought Kai was... He smiled, he laughed, he did it. We disagreed.
Right.
He did it in- I felt like it was good faith. Let's see.
I appreciate it, Mehdi.
He seemed to be in good faith. He seems kind of smart. And, he's one of the few people who doesn't want to deport me. Well, or maybe not. We're going to find out.
My claim is we should get rid of birthright citizenship.
Why do you want to get rid of birthright citizenship, and how, by the way? Because it's in the Constitution. I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yes.
Because it was one of my...
The 14th.
14th. I mentioned it to a bunch of your friends, and nobody wanted to engage in the 14th.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 14th Amendment,
Exactly.
the Citizenship Clause, which says that if you're born here, you're a citizen of the United States.
Yes, I chose this because it's an extension of the original debate and the immigration debate.
Okay.
I think birthright citizenship, first of all, when it was originally argued, among the people who were actually voting on the clause, right? It was argued that the birthright citizenship was not automatically extended to everybody who was just born here. And we have a long history of that as well, for example, with the Native Americans, who had particular laws that applied solely to them. What I think we're seeing in this country is not everybody is so similarly under the jurisdiction thereof of the United States, right? And
How?
by allowing for birthright citizenship and not
They
interpreting the
are under the
Constitution as we're legally allowed to and restrict, the automatic citizenship of anybody who's born here, we actually remove the issue, for example, of family separation, because there is no incentive of a family to come over to this country illegally and then have a child, which is contributing to the awful situation we have in America of breaking up families. This is not something that I imagine you or I agree with.
No.
The issue is birthright citizenship has incentivized that.
So even if I were to concede that in some cases birthright citizenship has incentivized that, that, I don't like the phrase anchor babies, but I'm not naive enough to pretend that there are not immigrants who come here and time the pregnancy in order to get. Of course, you and I can agree on that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you then rip up a constitutional principle that goes back centuries, goes back before the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment came about, I think, in 1868, if memory serves me correctly. But the principle underlying it is actually from my other country, the UK, ancient English common law, right? So this was always the case. The 14th Amendment, as you know, because you seem well read, came along and codified what was already a principle in American and English law, that if you're born in the country, you are a citizen. Now, you mentioned the point about jurisdiction. There is that little bit in there where it says subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That in the debate, if you go back and read the debate that the senators had at the time, they were very explicit that that was to do with foreign ministers and foreign ambassadors. Diplomats living in embassies, their kids shouldn't be citizens. Obviously, they're here on their own. You know, the Argentine embassy in DC is Argentine soil. So we accept all that.
Absolutamente, amigo.
But when they were asked about Chinese immigrants, Senator Trumbull, who was, I think, the chair of the Judiciary Committee back in the 1860s during this debate, he said at the time, Chinese immigrants' children, they're citizens. In fact, 1898, as you well know, we get Wong Kim Ark, Supreme Court case, Wong Kim Ark versus the United States. And the Supreme Court says, yes, even the child of undocumented Chinese immigrants is an American citizen. So this is a principle going back centuries. So while I can agree with you that there are cases that abuse the 14th Amendment, that there are issues of family separation, I'm not going to rip up a constitutional principle that goes back centuries and is backed by a 127-year-old Supreme Court precedent because Donald Trump is looking for ways to cut the number of brown and black people in the United States.
If you don't mind me interrupting, this is where I think it's important as well to go back to what we talked about with the Constitution. When we're analyzing, and admittedly, I'm not as interested in the legal argument. There's obviously many ways to interpret the Constitution, but I don't think, especially among conservatives, that it is positive to use the Constitution to dismantle it. When we analyze the original context, like you were saying, in the late 19th century, our immigration law was absolutely different, including, in respect with the Irish and Chinese immigrants that were coming over. It was absolutely different.
We had open borders, my friend. Some people in this room would hate it. We had open borders for half of American history.
Well, I don't think that's very true.
It's 100% true.
Well, hold on. If you're comparing the open borders, which I don't concede to, but if you're comparing the open borders prior to like 1910 and prior to the Hart-Celler Act, and you look at the amount of immigration and who was coming over.
Nice deflection. Amount is irrelevant. We did have an open border.
It is absolutely relevant.
Why?
Because the Constitution, like the founding fathers.
Hold on. Your argument is we had open borders, but there were fewer immigrants.
I was about to answer.
Okay.
It's important to analyze the context wherein these laws and parts of the Constitution arise. The original founding fathers said the Constitution was made only for immoral and religious people and is wholly inadequate to the government of any other, which means the people that wrote this document understood that it would not be able to properly...
Super secular people, but let's just be clear on that.
Oh, no, that's not true. They were deists.
A lot of them were super secular.
No, the majority were deists.
But they were secular. Secular doesn't mean atheist. You know what that means.
I understand that, but deist doesn't mean secular or atheist. It means they believe in a God, but not a God that's particularly present.
I didn't say anything about whether they're deist or theist. I said they're secular.
Okay, but secular
means you separate church and state.
Okay, well, let's talk. We could even talk about that. That's a perfect example.
You're going to run out of your own time making your argument, which you haven't made so far.
I understand, but the separation of church and state is now completely differently understood than originally proposed. Thomas Jefferson, who talks about the wall of separation, which doesn't even exist in the Constitution, understood it as a different
Supreme Court precedent, as you
It also exists.
Yeah, sure, but the precedent of the last 100...
It exists in the First Amendment. The Congress shall make no law with regard to the establishment of religion. We will not have an official state religion. That is very clearly a separation of church and state. Just because there aren't the words of separation of church and state in the Constitution doesn't mean that the Establishment Clause of the document does not clearly state that, and it has been reaffirmed by Supreme Court precedent many, many times, although the current Supreme Court is eroding that with their decisions.
Years wherein the country has been completely different from its founding should not overrule the original intent of the people who wrote the document that you and I are both citing. Okay. Which means,
but I'm not locked into what the people who wrote that. We've had amendments to the Constitution. You know that, right?
I understand that. Okay. And this is our fundamental disagreement. Yes. Is that I don't believe
you think you can read the minds of people in the 1770s.
That's not true.
I'm stuck.
I just believe this country ought to be more like the country we originally had, and I don't think
that's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
I understand that,
but there's a factual basis to it.
Well, let me try to see what you believe.
Okay.
If we are voting on these constitutional amendments, if we are interpreting them, and our interpretation becomes absolutely, let's say, a 180 from what the original intent of the authors of that document is, are you in favor of that?
Which depends on the context.
I guess it depends on the issue.
Okay, I would say no matter what.
So, for example, take the Second Amendment, which we kind of danced around. It's not been come up here and there.
Yeah.
You know the debate about the Second Amendment is the fundamental debate is one side says it's unlimited, and the other side says no. What they meant was the militias.
Yeah.
They didn't, and they had muskets. They didn't mean AR-15s, right? So we can have that endless debate, which I really don't care for about that. But to come back to your point about the constitutional principles, the 14th Amendment comes along in the 1860s, so it's pretty old. It's not as old as America.
Yeah.
But it comes along.
Well, hold on. I want to point something out that Kai said. It's like, would you support the Constitution being used in ways that it was not intended? And I think Mehdi makes a good point. It depends how it's used. Here's one example of how it could be used in a way that was not intended, but would therefore kind of, I guess, further goals. There have been people who have kind of looked at the all persons born or naturalized are citizens, or all persons have a right to due process. If we look at something like all persons have a right to due process, if you go to the abortion debate, if you define a fetus as a person, therefore it gets all the constitutional rights that you and I would enjoy, including the right to due process. Therefore, by arresting a pregnant woman, you thereby automatically arresting a rights holder, a person who has the right to due process, just like anyone else. So that would be an example of using the Constitution and using the laws against the people who and their original intent. So I don't think it's wrong to do that. I don't think it's wrong to use the freedom of speech, the First Amendment, to stand up for the rights of minorities, to which the founding fathers precluded in their original document. So no, I don't think that it is true that I automatically support people using the document for the opposite purpose. I'm just the 14th Amendment was not also something that probably the original founders would have agreed. Maybe some of them, but not at the time when they were debating it. Yes, but at the original time, are you kidding me? These people racist as fuck. Of course, yeah, great ideas. First Amendment, awesome. Due process, great. But you really think that they would like the fact that Black people are currently taking advantage of the right to vote, that women are now able to vote, that they amended the Constitution to give those people rights? No, they would be rolling in their graves if they knew what we were doing today. And that's a good thing. So I don't like this idea of if we're going against the intent of the framers, we're doing something wrong. If we're going against the intent of the framers in certain ways, we are doing everything right. Okay, if Thomas Jefferson would be rolling over his grave because we freed the slaves that he wanted to rape, then we're doing great. Okay, that's a good thing. Okay, so I don't accept this argument that somehow the founders, we need to just accept their wisdom. They were wrong on a lot. Do they deserve credit for the things they got right? Absolutely. And Declaration of Independence, Constitution, brilliant documents in many respects. Did it leave a lot of people out? Yes. Has the Constitution lived up to its full promise? Not really, but we're getting closer to that. So I don't know. Let's not fetishize the founding fathers. Okay, just that's what I'm going to say regarding this.
It's been around for 150 years. So if you want to get away with it,
it was around before 150 million Americans.
And I'm saying it was around before the United States was even created. It's part of ancient English common law. If you're born in a place, you're a citizen of that place, unless you're the child of a foreign diplomat or on a Native American reservation.
English common law did not exist simultaneously as millions of people coming across the border in a year.
Just to get to principles, your argument is numbers change everything. Because we've got so many more people,
not solely, but absolutely.
Okay.
The demographics of your immigration absolutely change it.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? If you got rid of the 14th Amendment, what would be in its place?
I think a citizenship test would be fantastic.
What age?
I wish.
What age?
I think we could administer it in high school.
To everyone?
Sure.
Or just the immigrants?
No, everybody.
And then if you fail it, you denaturalize white American native-born?
Maybe you can't get a government job.
Denaturalize that dude?
I think there's plenty of benefits that the government offers people that you should not be able to receive.
I'll tell you this, right? This might sound bad.
And I think
don't think people care for me anyway, so let me say something you might not like.
Nobody would pass it.
If you have a high school immigration citizenship test for everyone,
I think people will take citizenship more seriously.
I'm guessing the immigrant kids are going to outperform the white kids, and you might actually end up denaturalizing some of the white kids, and then people here will be really upset.
And hold on. And I like to be consistent about this. That's possible. But what I think it would do is it would give everybody a larger sense of the importance of citizenship.
So you would say no one born in this country is a citizen? No one?
Automatically no. Automatically no.
Wow.
I think we could extend that. People who have a heritage in the country
what are they until they pass the test? Undocumented?
I suppose, yeah. They are not able to receive government benefits. They're not able to receive government benefits. They're not able to apply for these jobs.
But their parents are citizens.
Okay, well, hold on. We're talking here about the way that we would implement it.
Yeah, it's pretty important. If you're trying to get rid of the 14th Amendment, I'm going to ask about the practicalities of it.
And we're not
Trump's doing it right now.
And I'm not going to be able to explain it to you in 10 minutes. But what I can explain to you is that right now in this country, we have a crisis of people not
accept that.
Hold on. We're not understanding what citizenship is. The way that you've referred to citizenship makes everybody who hasn't come to the United States an undocumented American citizen until the time they come over here.
That's how a lot of countries are, right? You know that birthright citizenship is operated by multiple democracies around the world. I know Trump lies and says, we're the only country that does it. He lies. That's not true. Multiple countries have birthright citizenship.
Do you think it ought to be that way? Do you think everybody in the world is an undocumented American?
So hold on. Well, or undocumented Canadian or undocumented Brit, right? Or undocumented.
Sure. Well, I'm an American, so I say America. But yeah,
but I'm saying, right, the principle is you immigrate. We have free movement of people around. I support free movement of people around the world.
But do you believe they're all
are you Kim Jong-un? You think people should only stay in one country and never leave and be blocked from leaving their country?
I think
that's a very illiberal and conservative position.
I think there's a big
libertarians
there's big room to move between being Kim Jong-un and saying that
not really. Hold on. In practical terms, if you accept,
I gave one side. I want to give the other. There's a big room to move between being Kim Jong-un and saying that everybody in the world is an American, they're just not on our soil yet. I think being an American
that's a ridiculous
citizen,
statement, right? Because everyone in the world is not heading for the United States of America.
Yeah, but
in fact, right now, numbers of people coming in is dropping a lot.
But the idea that you are supporting is that the moment you come to this soil and that you're born here, you become an American. And
I'm not saying at the moment you come to the soil, you become an American. I didn't. I had to do the test. Right? Okay. I had to do the naturalization process, which is guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. But the 14th Amendment also says if you're born here, then you automatically get it. And I'm not saying,
I think the problem we have,
it's a hill I'm going to die on.
The problem we have is we don't appreciate citizenship. The problem is that when you talk about immigration like we did before, when we talked about everything before.
I'm just confused. Like, he's making this argument we shouldn't have birthright citizenship because people don't appreciate the advantages and benefits they get because they were just given it at birth. Like, there are so many things people are just given at birth. I mean, if you win the genetic lottery, and I guess like me, you're born a white straight guy. Like, did I do anything to deserve that? Absolutely not. Like, do I have a lot of advantages because of that? Yeah. Like, but I don't. Should we strip me of my advantages? I mean, if they come at the expense of other people, of course, but like not like, yeah, I'm a citizen. I should be grateful of my citizenship. People should be grateful of their citizenship. Perhaps we should teach people to be grateful of citizenship. I think that's probably fine. It's good. Although I'm skeptical of this idea that people need to be grateful for this country. It just leads to them wanting to quash dissent and say that anyone who is dissenting is unpatriotic. But beside the point, if it's genuinely good faith, gratefulness, because, of other countries that aren't doing as well, largely because of our intervention. Long tangent. I just want to get that out of the way. If it's just like general, like, I'm lucky to be here, totally for it. 100%. Could not be more in favor of people, recognizing the unearned advantages that they get. That there are so many people in this country who were born on third base thinking they hit a triple. Like, I am so in favor of that type of thinking. But the way to do that is not to get rid of birthright citizenship. It's to just teach people to be grateful, teach people the meaning of citizenship, teach people what it means to be an American citizen, the rights and privileges that you have that you should use for the greater good. That's what it means. This is not, the argument is not like we should strip people of birthright citizenship because they just don't appreciate it enough until they take the test. I'm fine with them having to take like a civics test. I think that's a good thing. We don't get there by stripping people of their citizenship. We just that doesn't get anywhere. Like, I don't know. I think this is a dubious claim. Kai has backed away from the other argument of like why people shouldn't have birthright citizenship because of birth tourism, which is like a very negligible issue in terms of how many people actually take advantage of that. And now he's moving over to this idea people just aren't grateful enough. Okay, who gives a fuck? I'm not going to revoke people's constitutional rights because some of them don't like fly an American flag and sing like, the Star Spangled Banner. Like, I don't know. It's just annoying.
What were we talking about? We were talking about products. We weren't talking about practices or perceptions, which is really what immigration is about.
Can I agree with you? We don't in this country value citizenship enough.
I agree.
I think we should encourage people to have more civics lessons in schools, understand American history and Constitution much more. Here's what's the irony is, I'm sitting in a room today where I've met a bunch of people claiming to be Native Americans who hate everything America stood for centuries.
I think they stand much closer to the America that we originally had, and I think that's the big disagreement.
You lived there or had any clue what that was like.
But you've agreed to dismantling
things about that America.
But you've agreed to dismantling that America as long as it's legal.
You have. You're the person who came here and made your argument.
I'm a constitutional originalist.
Taking away an amendment of the Constitution. I didn't. I said keep the Second Amendment.
I'm an originalist. I think we should interpret it the way it was probably originally interpreted.
All right, guys, that's time.
Nice to debate with you, Kite. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I thought it would be an interesting exercise in trying to understand what genuine far-right conservative folks think. And it was kind of disturbing to see that they think what I thought they think, and they were happy to say it out loud. I am disappointed that I had to sit across from people who believe in white genocide, who believe I'm not a citizen. Multiple people here said I should be deported. One of them was even the child of immigrants, which I found bizarre.
Obviously, we were way outclassed. Like, we're not professional debaters. I don't think anyone in this room was. Maybe one or two people. And clearly, Manny, he does this for a living, right? He's a journalist, so he's really good at what he does.
Mehdi Hasan was pretty good at, taking cheap shots, trying to derail people from their argument.
Dude.
Trying to pit me.
You couldn't fucking condemn just unilaterally the shooting of children. Israeli snipers shooting children. He didn't make you look bad. You made yourself look bad. I'm sorry. All you had to say was, no, I don't support that. But then you twisted yourself into a logical pretzel because you realized that if you suddenly said, no, that's a bad thing, then it would go against your whole argument that the reason that Israel is justified in bombing Gaza, or Trump is justified in ethnically cleansing Gaza, is because of bad ideologies or because of propaganda or because they are taught to hate the Jews. That's not a reason to kill people. We don't solve that problem by murdering more people. This is the thing that I don't understand about these people. The whole war on terror crowd, which these people weren't really war on terror, but they were very much some of them, especially him, were arguing we need that what Israel's doing is important because these people hate them. Why the fuck do they hate them? Why do Gazans and Palestinians probably hate Israel, or a lot of them do, and some of that might spill over into anti-Semitism because that's the primary religious and ethnic group that lives there. Why? Because they're being fucking bombed and they see their relatives being shot in the streets and their children dying in their arms, that their apartment complex is leveled. We don't solve this problem by killing more people, because every time Israel or the United States or really any Western country kills more innocent civilians, we create more terrorists. Every shrapnel that a Palestinian child or individual sees with the Israeli or United States flag on it is another future Hamas fighter in the making. Okay, so that's the truth. Okay, peace is the only solution here, and we don't solve it with more killing. Killing leads to more killing. This is not that hard to understand. So, I don't know. I guess I went on my rant at the very end here, but we got a little bit more. I don't know if I could get any more wild.
Against, some of the people that wouldn't like people of my color to be in the United States, which is irrelevant.
I think one person said as he walked off, "You'll be the first to go," which is ominous and racist.
I think that was disheartening and particularly discouraging, because it just felt like it was fitting into a stereotype that we're trying to fight against, which is we actually have arguments, we can provide good reason, and that rhetoric just pushes that far away.
I am, I guess, a far-right Republican, but as I learned today, not as far-right as I thought I was. Someone gets up and they're just like, yeah, I guess I just want to have autocracy forever and Christian nationalism, or just being like, yeah, I'm racist. And to me, that's very foreign of a concept.
While I didn't, disagree with most of the people in the circle, it did bother me at times, to see them say mean things. There's not really a reason to do that. But it also upset me when Mehdi said, I'm not willing to debate with those people.
Free speech doesn't mean you need to give credibility or oxygen or a platform to people who don't agree in human equality.
I hear Mehdi's point about not giving them a platform, but the thing is, if you stop giving them a platform, they don't just go away and change their mind.
I would agree with
And
this.
then you tell the rest of society no one exists who thinks like that, and that's not true.
I
would actually probably agree a little bit with Gerard there. I think there's a balance here, and I think it's understandable to not want to debate people who don't support democracy in this type of platform. You know what I mean? That's not the best use of his time, and that's not the best thing optically. But yeah, I would agree. It's important to be open to ideas and engaging with the worst among us so that they don't get driven more underground. So yeah.
Even people I disagree with, I try and avoid bad faith folks. I think some of the folks today were bad faith. I'm anti-conservative, right? I don't support conservative views on taxation. I don't support conservative views on immigration. But the people here today were way beyond conservatives. This is open authoritarianism.
Correct.
And this is what is being normalized and mainstreamed in our country by people in power, by the media, by people who don't know any better.
It's true. It's a weird ending. I don't know. All right. Ooh, all right. Well, that was definitely something. I don't any debriefing thoughts, It's scary, definitely. It's scary to think about the country that we live in. It's scary to think that those people are your neighbors and those people are, people just everyday people. Someone like Kai, someone who's, very, very cunning, very, is a polished speaker. I've known Kai for a long time. Kai traffics in a lot of the same circles as the other people. And Kai really tipped his hand there when he said that, he didn't necessarily disagree with the things they were saying, because he doesn't. So, Kai is an example of just a really cunning white nationalist, okay? And, I think it's important to not let charm make their ideology seem any less horrid, because it is. And that is just the factual thing. So, just in general, yeah, these people are definitely... need to be defeated. Okay, like this is why this fight is so important. This is why being informed, being educated, talking to people, this is why I think videos like this are actually good. Okay, because how many people do you think watch Jubilee who genuinely had no idea that there were people out there who like thought we should have autocracy or had no problem being called a Nazi or would have an issue disavowing it, or like had an issue disavowing shooting innocent snipers shooting innocent Palestinians in the head? Like that is important to expose. That's important for people to see that that is how a large cohort of people think. It's not just them. They are a representative sample, probably of the right as a whole. There were more moderate people like Gerard, and there were people off their fucking rocker like Connor, who goes by like another Pine Sap or something. I saw that before. Goes by another alias on the internet. So just in general, I think just keep keeping in mind that these people exist. And they're only gaining more power, if you think about it. They have the ear of the White House. You know, they're in some cases in the White House in terms of Stephen Miller, who has publicly like stated that the only Arab is a good, or only good Arab is a dead Arab. Was like just like filmed like saying just absolutely horrible stuff about them, and now he has the opportunity to turn his deranged fantasies into reality. So it's easy to get discouraged as well. Like I don't want this video to largely be like me telling you that there's nothing worth fighting for, or that like we're so far gone. We're not, okay? These people, while they are gaining power, can be defeated, okay? And the way that they are defeated involves education, involves, just learning more, obviously, education, but it also involves empathy, okay? Like I think, it's easy to get really, really, really angry at these people. And I understand. I think that these people are awful and they need to be defeated. But I think, and I've said this before, but I think it's something I want to say now, there's a fundamental contradiction on the left. And I've noticed this a lot. And the contradiction specifically is that we fundamentally believe, which I think is true, that people are largely a product of their material conditions. Okay, someone's environment, it doesn't necessarily dictate everything, but it is very indicative of how they will turn out in life. This is true. 2/3 of people who are born into an income bracket die in that income bracket. Poverty leads to crime. Like these are not shocking things. So people's environments largely shape who they are. We also believe the second thing. And the second thing is that people who hold views like them, or even just like slightly conservative or differ from you, are evil, are awful, and they're personally responsible for being terrible, awful human beings. And I think those things conflict. Oops. That doesn't mean that these people bear no responsibility for the vitriolic hatred and racism that they espouse, but it does mean that they are not the ones at fault entirely, or even probably primarily, for the prevalence of these types of views. There are right-wing media machines that are run by people who have a lot more money and don't have to say this stuff, okay? They use them as pawns. They're not absolved of responsibility whatsoever at all. But I just kind of want to point that out. Compassion is still necessary. Understanding that people are a product of their material conditions and social conditioning. It doesn't give them a blank check, but it does mean that we need to look beyond just screaming and getting mad at these individual people, because the problem runs way deeper than that. The problem runs in many different ways. I didn't mean for this to be that long, but I think I stayed silent for so long because Mehdi was just doing such a great job, and it's like, yeah, as I said, it's like watching a master perform his craft. Like it's inspiring to watch, really. But so I guess I'm saying more now. But the way, the way we win this is by having empathy for people and understanding. And this is something I've said before, and I think was it on one of these last videos? I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. What I've said is that the problem with these people is that they recognize actual real problems in the world. Declining wages, even declining birth rates as well. They talk about that a lot. They talk about people not having access to healthcare and housing, and quality jobs, and things of that nature. Many, many other. The laundry list goes on. They recognize that's a problem, but they just misdiagnose they misdiagnose the cause of the problem. They realize it's a problem, and they misdiagnose the cause. This is partially why liberal everyday politics, like liberal, neoliberal politics that doesn't actually address the material conditions of the people who live under them, enables these fascistic ideas, because what it does is it creates a class of people who are fundamentally fed up with the system because it keeps screwing them over and over and over. And what do? They blame protected classes for it, because that's what they're told to do by opportunists and con men like Donald Trump, who find a way and take the advantage and capitalize on their anger. Okay, so what we need to do in order to break that cycle is show people that their economic conditions can improve while immigrants also exist. These things are not mutually exclusive, okay? It is much easier to blame the problem on immigrants than blame the problem on our entire economic system that is designed to exploit them for the benefit of the very wealthy. So that's just kind of what this really brings up for me, is like, these people absolutely are responsible for the vitriolic hatred that they spread, but they're also victims. They're victims of a right-wing propaganda machine that views them as expendable to express the hate, because they, these are random people. If they take flack for it, that's what's going to happen. But the people who fund the right-wing media machine, such as the Koch brothers, to other oil billionaires, I'm trying to think about the people like Dennis Prager, people like him who actually fund this machine, kind of get to sit back and watch the little pawns that they've set up fight each other and fight other people while they stand back and laugh all the way to the bank. So I don't really, I could probably keep going and going and going. This video was actually shorter than I expected. Obviously, that's because, once again, I didn't talk as much, or I didn't pause as much, because Mehdi was just going to town, just saying most of the things that I said. I sometimes regret that I paused so soon, because immediately after I paused, Mehdi said exactly the thing that I said. But so it's kind of all I've got. Yeah, so I'm not gonna. There's so many other things I could say, but perhaps we'll save that for another video, as this is already like 2.5 hours. So all I will say is, if you watch this all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope that I can make these Jubilee videos a little bit more palatable to watch. You know what I mean? Like, I think it can be validating to see someone else who shares the same thoughts as you, because so I hope that, maybe you had the same wow moments that I did, when someone declares themselves publicly to be a fascist. Like, yeah, that should be alarming, and you should, that should really send off bells, because it is alarming, and the fact that those people are openly able to say that is scary. So that's all I'm gonna really say. This is the actual end, because that was supposed to be the end. So feel free to leave your comments down below. I really want to hear what you guys think. I'm always open to you pushing back against me. Why do I have some feeling that the white nationalists and the Nazis are gonna find this and they're gonna be raging in the comments? I feel like that's gonna be the case. But I guess we will find out. But yeah, that's all I've got. If you like this video, definitely subscribe to my channel, as I will continue to be reacting to videos like this. I enjoy it, and it seems like you guys are enjoying it as well. And yeah, definitely, I think there's going to be some video that pops up at some point. If I stop talking, it'll pop up soon enough, like right here, to watch that one. That's probably another Surrounded episode. But yeah, and also follow me on my other socials. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or not YouTube. I'm tired if you can't tell. Those are all linked in the description below, and I hope you will enjoy those. So honestly, that's all I've got. I hope you all, I guess, have a great rest of your day. It's evening for me. It's almost past midnight, but hope you guys have a great rest of your day, great week, and hope that you gain something from this in the valuable fight against these hateful ideas that is winnable and we need to fight against. So that's all I've got. Thank you very much. Take care.